Once upon a time, there was a beautiful girl who lived in the north side of Chicago, and she was hired to go to people's homes and read stories to their children about princesses, and they were political thriller. Wait, are they ever political?
They're not political.
Never?
They're not political.
Like a suspense thriller, or
well, I'll do some scary stories sometimes.
well, Sleeping Beauty and stuff like that.
Right,
That's like messed up.
But I have original content.
You write your own stuff?
I write my own stuff.
Oh, I didn't. Really?
Yes.
Mostly, is that what you're reading?
I'm not reading it. I'm performing it.
Oh my God, the onion that is you. All right.
Yes.
So you were listening to a Chatter Fact. These are not interviews; they're just conversations. And I was gone for a bit. I told everybody like, oh, it'll be about a month. I'm going to take a month off. And the singing thing, like, just your brother's in my band, so it took over those 5 shows a week, 6 shows a week, and I couldn't get the podcast.
No,
I couldn't. I
had to please the people.
I had to please the people,
the live people,
to save my voice.
Yeah.
So I had to take almost 3 months off.
Wow.
So I'm coming back with you.
I thought you just didn't want to talk to me.
So Tracey, wait, what do you go by? Like, do you have a professional? Your full name professionally?
So full name professionally is Miss Tracey and her Big Ballyhoo show.
Oh boy!
Yeah. So,
and did you maintain like Ellert though? Because,
I did.
Okay,
I kept
Ellert.
Ellert.
Have Tracey Ellert.
Yes, I keep Ellert for performance,
and
also I have it on my resume for acting. And
Tracey Ellert.
Tracy
so
Ellert.
it just made
so I just keep
sense.
it. Yeah, I keep it.
All right. So Tracey Ellert is here, and this is like, oh man, you're like topping the list. We were talking about Sarah Rose.
Yeah.
So that was probably Sarah Rose, like the goddess of
She inspired
Chicago
this scarf.
fashion. Oh, really?
Today. I was like, oh, I guess if Sarah Rose was on, I better wear a fancy scarf today.
And you didn't wear any pants.
No.
So Sarah Rose, in my mind, was like maybe the most interesting sort of content. Everybody else was kind of in my wheelhouse. And you are, I mean, I've done some acting and performing, but this is crazy, the storybook reading.
Yeah.
This is why when I heard about it and thought about it, and God bless your brother Tyson, who, by the way, I think this is like the 3rd or the 4th time Tyson Ellert, who's a drummer who works with in my original band and the cover band I mostly work with. This might be the 3rd or 4th time he's been mentioned on a podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
So will he ever get interviewed on the podcast?
Oh God, no. Why? No. He just gets mentioned.
No, he just gets mentioned.
No, I love.
He's the Matt Damon of.
I'm gonna always.
Jimmy,
oh, sorry, we're out of
Jimmy
time.
Jimmy Kimmel, yeah.
No, he's
for Tyson
his
Ellert.
name has been dropped more than anybody else on the podcast.
Interesting.
So your brother's a semi
He's out there.
celebrity.
Yeah.
As so anyway, this is what blows my mind about you, because he did suggest, like, she's like a professional storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't say storybook reader. He didn't.
No.
Like, I didn't even know what.
And
to
most
do.
people say the lady's going to read you a book, and then I say, "Oh no, I don't read books. They're awful."
Okay,
no, I don't say that.
What do you do?
Okay, so I am a live children's storyteller, and I put on story shows. So that's kind of the best way. A one-woman story show. And that's what I say. I actually describe it to people because I feel like they can understand it better, because they always relate stories with books. And so I always say I put on a story show, much like a one-woman show for preschool-aged children. So I play all the characters. I use props, toys. I have a storytelling bag. And so I open my one-woman show and I tell them, I'm going to get my storytelling glasses out. And I go into my storytelling bag and I start the show, and I'm ripping through all my props and toys looking for my glasses. And it's always the wrong thing until finally I find them. And then they're broken. And so basically I have a character called the Licking Monster. He's this big furry puppet that comes out, and he's the one who broke him because he licks everything, and he comes from Lickamandu, where you can lick everything. You can lick shoes and floors and ceilings. I know, everything's delicious. Right. So he comes out, and so then basically I do a whole show, and that's my opening, and then I do 2 stories, and I usually do transition characters.
Where did this come from? So you made that's your content.
So that's all my content.
You made up the licking guy.
Yes, all my characters.
The whole shtick.
Yes, and I have a Licking Monster T-shirt.
So you keep getting more fascinating to me, like, as we go every second now.
Yeah,
so what? Okay.
So I write the stories, and I'm usually the narrator to start, and I say, once upon a time, and then I'll take out a prop and start doing the voice for the prop. So I perform the prop character's voice, and then I'll come back to the narrator, or then I'll put on a wig or glasses, and so I perform the story, and I also narrate it.
That's brilliant.
Or I have a toy that's the character, or I'm the character. So sometimes I'm the kid.
So you're making voices?
Yeah, I do. I'll change my voices.
I need to see this.
So maybe we should. I know you do need to see it. So
Well, I'm gonna have to bring you to a party now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bring me to a party.
Oh my God,
a children's party.
So you never read but you never do the act for adults.
Not really. I've had a bunch of people ask. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
You've actually had people ask for like
adult... just kind of like, well, do you do adult stories? I'm like, well,
you're
really.
A pretty girl too, so is it never like the
creepy.
dad's like, hey, why don't you?
Well, so I played a character called Dancy Nancy on a show on Nick Jr.
Oh.
And it's called Jack's Big Music Show, and it's still on Nick Jr. I don't think they syndicate it daily, but it's on demand. Dancy Nancy.
Yeah.
On Nick Jr. And so it's a puppet show.
Okay.
And so, but I'm not a puppet. Did you know that?
I know it now.
Okay, so I play a live action character called Dancy Nancy, and she comes into the house of the puppets and dances. And there's been like a variety of comments because I put it on YouTube, and you can see it. You can just Google Dancy Nancy, DancyNancy.
Google it now.
Google it.
Press pause, Google it now, then come back to us.
So you can see Dancy Nancy dancing.
How long ago was that?
This was about 5 years ago.
I want to see that. I can't wait.
Yeah,
okay.
And I also wrote an episode for the show on Nick Jr. One of the episodes on it,
how
Mel
awesome.
got his groove back. And so anyway, I play this character, and I put it on YouTube, and there's like so many comments about it, and they vary. Some are like stay-at-home dads that are like, Dancy Nancy, hello.
Wow. And then, what are you wearing? Are you wearing?
I'm just wearing like a 50s outfit, like a sweater, and it's really weird how creepy,
like
how many creepy people can find this and like write stuff and like. But my favorite comment was that, okay, what Spuds MacKenzie? Do you know what kind of dog that is?
No.
Okay,
well, like the one spotted eye.
Yeah, but it has that huge nose.
All right.
So somebody said that I looked like that dog.
What? That's not kind.
I thought it was really funny though because I have glasses on, so my nose kind of looks really long. I'm like, I kind of do look like one of those dogs.
Just weird dad stuff.
No, there are some weird dad stuff, but then one of them said I look like a dog, which I kind of do. If you look at it, then look up the Spuds MacKenzie dog.
Oh my
Watch
gosh.
Dancy Nancy first, and then look at Spuds MacKenzie's photo.
You need to have like the parallel.
Yeah,
pictures
I could get the.
and put
Yeah,
them on
I'll
your
do that.
Facebook page or something.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So story shows, live story shows,
but never for adults.
Never for adults.
My wife used to do the costume thing.
Like a character dress up. Okay.
And she would be Belle, and but she would like show up as Catwoman, and it would always get a little weird.
Yeah, it gets creepy.
And it would be the dads
because they get a little like, oh, we're gonna have some alcohol here, and then they just can't stop.
Keep
themselves.
It in there, like seriously.
No, it's a kids show. Yeah, I think my very first storytelling show, I remember it was a Wizard of Oz theme, and I dressed as Glinda.
Oh, okay.
And that was the only time I ever dressed up. But
now, as attractive as you are. That's like a cool costume. I wouldn't say it's a sexy costume.
It was nice. I mean, but I just remember feeling like I felt like I was in a box then for the whole show.
Oh, okay.
And I like to do characters and faces. And if you see my show, I'm very expressive, and I can make really ugly faces and really crazy faces. So that's kind of the biggest part of my show is I'm very expressive and use a lot of my.
So that didn't cause any weird.
So Glinda, she's too pretty. I need to be a little ugly sometimes.
So that helps maybe.
Yeah, I do ugly moms all the time.
But you've been asked
go upstairs and comb your hair. Like that kind of stuff.
I like the voice too.
Yeah, I told you, go upstairs and comb your hair.
Oh, you're regressing me. Yeah. That made me shiver. That's like...
I did, and then I'll be the girl. So I like to really put the faces on.
I mean, if somebody would have asked to do a party, but it is like maybe for adults, like what you couldn't even entertain that, or what would you do the same?
No, so I used to do
improv.
Yeah, so I used to do improv, and I've done like teen parties where I did improv games.
See, that would be cool,
and that was fun. Teens, yeah, that was great, and that was fun. But the teens have to like be into it. No, for like, and you know what I used to want to do? I used to want to be. They used to call it a ringer. Have you ever heard of this? It's really cool. So basically, a company hires you at imagine a huge company bank, their Christmas party.
Big corporate
They
thing.
hire you as a character, I'm Peg from Philadelphia, and she gets wasted at the party, gives a speech, but nobody knows that she's paid to be there. They're called the ringers.
Are you way over the top when you do that?
Oh yeah, I would love to do that. That's actually I think when I get older, when I'm an older crazy woman, I'm gonna do that's gonna be my job.
I don't even have the venues or the parties yet, but now I just want to create parties so that I can
parties?
bring you.
But you could even do. I
want you reading stories. I want you to be that lady.
I know. I have a lot of job ideas that I don't have time to make into jobs.
And then we still, like, we're working for the almighty dollar. So, like, if somebody had, if somebody did have, like, I like women who put on one-act shows. I mean, like, what do you do? Like, if it's like, hey, you got to do
here's $500. You just got to come as, like, Scooby-Doo's,
yeah.
like, what's her name? Like, the Thelma.
And what if
we want you as Thelma? You just have to be Thelma for a bunch of men.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are you gonna do?
Like
it's a grand.
That's the tricky part.
And you just have to be Thelma. They're not gonna try and touch you.
You look like Thelma, but
what
we
if
want
they just
you to
all
sound like Scooby-Doo. You have to talk like Scooby-Doo, dress like Thelma. It's like the whole, like, what do you do?
And they all just sit and stare at you, and they just, like, don't talk. They just watch you, and you have to talk for 45 minutes.
I would have a hard time, like, like if it, even, I guess, $500, even $1,000, be like, I have my pride. But if then they feel like, $2 $2,000, 15 minutes. Wouldn't you be like, Rory? You're just in.
I'd be like, Scooby, Rover. Yeah, I would definitely be practicing, and then I would be like, well, maybe I need to bring a bodyguard with me, and then, like, hey, if that's it, that's what I do. That's what I do.
I have no idea why I took that turn, but it's just so amusing to think.
It's interesting to think about,
I keep thinking of my wife Janice as the Catwoman, and she just said it was always a weird moment. It never got bad.
No, but they just always they can't pull out of it. It's like they have to say something sexual. It's like so creepy.
Well, this is I am like, okay, so if we were like back up, because obviously there had to be some kind of journey to get here. And then, by the way, we're talking to somebody who not only has like improv background, but you've had those parts in the movies.
Yeah,
like you were in Divergent.
I was in Divergent.
And you were in
which is totally opposite. Crisis.
Oh, Crisis. Okay.
Yeah, and in both of them, I was a crying mom.
So that's you're becoming.
So which is totally. I'm like comedian for preschoolers, and then I could switch over and be a crying mom for a major motion picture. It's like a flash second.
In Divergent, you're in it though.
I'm in it. I cry, but you can. I mean, it's at the choosing ceremony scene, and I'm basically like, you see me for a second, I lean down and cry.
Are you holding like a baby or
They told me
like
to cover my face, and I was like, are you kidding? I've only got a second on the
this
screen.
This is my moment.
I'm not covering my face. Would you cover this?
So
why would you do that?
Like, do they actually, did the camera go to you and your fingers kind of separate? So
I had to do like so many takes, and the best part was because there were 600 extras for this scene.
Oh, wow.
But I was a featured extra. So that means you're on camera for time, so you're not just a flash on the screen.
A featured extra, you're going to get some,
and you get paid
face
more.
Time.
Yes.
Like you're.
Yeah, you're getting screen time. Okay. And the other part about it that was awesome is I didn't have to sit in holding, which was at the bottom of the Trump Towers, which was all day until they're ready for the scene, because they're not going to like manage 600 people in a room while they're trying to shoot a scene. So they shoot all the close-ups. I got to sit in the building on set with Kate Winslet and like the director the whole day. It was amazing. So I got to watch the director working. His name was Neil Berger, and got to watch him work, which was amazing because I've worked on the TV show that I'm talking about before, Jack's Big Music Show. I worked on the set. I was the assistant to the director and the script supervisor.
What is your training?
For TV? For background?
Okay.
That was my first.
So let's go. I jumped. You are officially a guest on the podcast because this is how we do it.
Okay,
it's just like,
jump
bam,
all
bam,
over.
Bam,
okay,
yeah.
Great. I like it.
But if starting from the beginning, because you're from the East Coast.
I'm from Connecticut.
I know that much.
Yeah, I grew up on like 300 acres of land with like nothing to do. We didn't have cable, and we didn't even have total phone. Do you remember? Did you guys call it total phone?
What is total phone?
Total.
No, total.
Total phone is
not like the
three-way
dog,
calling.
Like total recall.
Three-way calling.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't have that.
It was called total phone.
Total, because that was like probably the total package. Like I keep it sounds like Toto when I'm saying it. Total, yeah. The total package.
And your little phone package too. It sounds sounds like you're saying Toto.
Totally.
Total.
And
okay.
you're little. So anyway, that's when you could click over and say, oh, let's put Jane on and like let's tell her that you're not on the phone, and then let's ask her if she likes you. You could do all these like crazy girl stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, we didn't have that. It was
just called call waiting, I think.
Call waiting, but we called it total phone.
Yeah,
totally.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, I grew up on 300 acres of land, and we really weren't allowed to watch a lot of TV. So I feel like my imagination came from my mom constantly being like, "Go outside, find something to do," and there was like nothing but land behind us. So I was like hanging on a vine, just like imagining that it was like a man swinging me across the dance floor. Like I was constantly just doing.
Were you Disney buff at all, or
no, not at all. We didn't watch a lot of TV or movies. My mom always I remember like trying to watch Three's Company a lot. Because it was like, you knew something was going on, but you don't know what. Like, you didn't know what sex really was then because you were so little, but you knew there was something crazy.
Some tension
and
there.
my mom would come in and go, I don't like this show. And then she would shut it off and would be like, so then she'd be like, go outside. They didn't like it because he was such a pervert, I think.
Yeah.
And kind of like always about women and just, you know.
And at some point, somebody was walking out in like little pajamas or kind of a nightie, which like is nothing compared to what they show now.
Totally. And
There's
it was
like
so, and it was so, and it was so innocent.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I do watch episodes now, like if you watch it, it's like, oh, it's all sexual, like innuendos. It's all about sex. And it's like, I wouldn't let my 8-year-old watch it.
How many misunderstandings can one like apartment have? You know, like, oh, wait, he's not, they're like really in the bathroom making, you know, working on the plumbing, but it would always sound like something else is going on. However, when I step back and I watch any of those, it's been a while, but like they're kind of rerunning and stuff. And John Ritter, man, just his comedic timing and his ability.
He was so good.
I don't know if that guy got enough credit for what he did on that show. I mean, there was like classic physical.
Yes.
And then
I know. I don't think he did get enough credit. He was amazing
on every level. That guy could deliver the
and
goods.
He just was like a pro. Like, I mean, besides his timing and everything, it was like he knew the camera. Like, it seemed like he knew the camera so well and like how to perform for it and his strengths. And felt like that was his first show, though, right?
I thought I heard like him and the girl who played Janet were like trained.
Oh, really?
You know, and then
like theatrically trained?
Yeah, and then when Suzanne Summer came in, she
was not.
Yeah, I think that was like the first true acting. Like she never really did any.
Oh, that's interesting.
Real acting, like to that level.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah. So so speaking of training, and so I lived in Connecticut, grew up there, and then I moved out here right after high school to go to Columbia College for acting.
Okay.
Moved out with like a high school boyfriend and was like, I love Chicago.
Was he in the arts too?
Don't love my boyfriend.
Oh, there it goes, just like that.
No, yeah, I was like,
this is great. You're not.
Totally. How can I get out of your parents' basement? Because his parents moved out here, and they were like, they loved me. They wanted me to be their daughter-in-law, and I was like, okay. So I lived with them for like the first semester, and I used to take the train down to Columbia College. And then
whereabouts in the city were you?
Buffalo Grove.
Oh, okay.
And it was awful. So it was like,
so you were the first Ellert.
To escape. And I actually remember, I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about like because I saw these old videos of myself and I was kind of shy. Like at 10, I was like a little shy on the camera. We don't have a lot of video footage of us as kids. And so I found this one that my aunt had, and I was kind of shy, and I was like, that's interesting. When did I like become like a performer? And then I remembered when I got my license, I went to a big family party, and I told them all the story of me getting my license. And my whole family, like aunts and uncles, were gathered around, and I had them around me. And I remember doing the whole backing up and the guy looking at me, and I played all the characters. And I was like, that's when I started to realize like, oh, I'm good at storytelling, because they all were watching, and then they were like, tell the story, Tracey, do the story, tell the story.
Was this before any kind of training?
Yeah, in high school.
It just happened.
16. And then I moved to a new school in my sophomore year, and they had theater classes, my other school didn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm really interested, and I took theater classes, and I just loved it. So that's like in high school I took theater, and then I always had to decide between sports and theater. So like 1 year I couldn't do the play because I played soccer, but I did the one acts in the spring, and so I liked it a lot. Yeah, I loved performing. But when I was little, like when I was like 8 through 10 or whatever, I was shy. So I don't know. It just in high school, I think.
What is that? It's weird, isn't it? I think you
start to become
I remember
who you
being
are.
able to speak, and I didn't talk. Like I just never talked.
So you were shy?
I was one of those. And then my first time, and I wanted to sing. And now, if you see
imagine
me sing
dancing
now,
the way you do in front of all these people,
all that.
like that age?
I never imagined doing the things that I do now. If some of the podcast people may have never seen me perform like on stage, but I jump around and dance.
Quite a bit. And you've got some great rhythm, and you're fun.
The first video ever that's floating around, I don't think it's anywhere. It must be in somebody's like basement in a VHS tape.
Mine.
My first time.
It's the only tape my mom let us watch. Wait, how much older are you than me?
I don't know.
Much.
Probably 70
Not
years
much.
older. But it was like a mall like talent contest, and my high school band was performing. So it was my first time performing in front of people, and I'm all arms, so my legs could not move. I couldn't move. So like Robby Celestin, performer day one.
That's really funny to be so opposite.
Yeah, I don't think I ever left that.
Because you were so nervous. You think?
I guess so. Yeah, for 3 songs. Nothing. My legs did not move till I like said thank you and walked
And your legs
away.
don't stop moving.
Now they don't
on your
stop.
show. Tyson is usually like, can you stop moving your legs? Can you just move your arms for this show?
The beauty of your brother as a drummer, man, is that he is. There's only one other drummer I've ever worked with like him who actually like pays attention to that stuff. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm doing anything physically, you know, if it's something with my feet, something with my butt, something with my anything, he's like, I got it.
He plays with it. He just plays with your movements.
He actually accents.
He is so on. He's so aware.
Intuitive with that.
Yes, he really is.
A lot of the guys are just like, it's me and the bass player, man.
Yeah.
Just me and the bass. We lay in the groove.
Totally. You know? I like how you got closer for that.
Yeah, and then sometimes if you work with other people, a lot of the guys are great, but some people don't pay that close attention.
Yeah.
So I'm stomping like, yeah, and the drummer's just like,
right. Yeah, you're like,
just
this
playing
is not
like,
going with my
stomping.
stomping.
It's you and me, man.
Yeah.
Oh, forget it.
Yeah, I thought we had something.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tyson actually probably witnessed some of my early performances too as a child when my mom would be like, go outside and play or whatever. I remember I used to, like, if it was raining, I'd play like Stranded Girl in the Rain.
What was that?
That was my show. That was my own show. And it was like I would lay like on the ground, like I got stranded in the rain, and like I didn't know where I was. And then all of a sudden, my little brother Tyson, he's my little brother, he would be like spying on me, like, what is she doing, you know? And he'd come over and I'd be like, get out of here, like, because I was embarrassed. I didn't want to. So I used to play Stranded Girl in the Rain, and then the whole episode in my head was like, I'd be laying there and the rain's like beating down on me, and then I'd get up and I didn't know where I was, and I'd actually go into my real house and I would get a towel and be like, someone took care of it. It was like a whole, like,
this is awesome.
I was playing that. And
this would be a recurring episode.
Yeah. Oh, I've loved whenever it rained. Whenever it rained. So that was Stranded Girl in the Rain.
And like, you had him like knowing what he had to do.
Well, like, no, because he kind of wanted to play, you know, he's little. He was probably like 7, but he would be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, get out of here. You wouldn't understand Stranded Girl in the Rain.
Oh, I see. I thought that was part of the bit.
No, he wasn't part of the bit.
So
he
you
just
would break
saw me
character.
Like, yeah, I broke character. Yeah, ugly sister. I'd turn into ugly sister and be like, get out of here. Find your own thing to do. You know, like, listen, we're on 300 acres of land. Everyone for themselves. Find your own game. Mom shut Three's company off. I'm done with you. I've got my Stranded Girl. You get your own thing. Go get your
Stranded
bike.
Girl in the Rain better come back.
I know. It might be.
That's a book at least.
That's a book, right? Oh, wow. And then, I also used to do Tic Tac overdose.
What is Tic Tac overdose?
Tic Tacs were my pills, and I would do like shaky soap opera hand.
How old were you?
I was like, I don't know, Willie Circle House, so I was like 10 or 11.
So you were
we used
in
to
it,
watch,
man.
I was in it, but I didn't know. I just was like, this was like what I would play, because if we shut the TV off. So basically, like soap operas, remember they always like OD'd, you'd see them like, and then make a phone call and the phone would drop. It was like that dramatic. So I used to take Tic Tacs and I would be like, and then like make a phone call, but never make the phone call and drop to the floor. That was like another.
Oh my God.
That's it though. Nothing else happened.
I'm probably going to have to get somebody to animate this podcast. Like all of your little stories, I need like actual like animation to go with this.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Because your stuff's good, man.
So it would be like potamation.
Yeah. Oh, look,
this is a new thing.
Copyright Tracey Ellert.
Shoot, write that down.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So anyway, so then I moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
I went to Columbia for a semester and was
when you first went, what were you studying first?
Acting.
Like, okay.
And I was like, I don't know how. My parents were like, they didn't go to college, and they were like, we support you with whatever you want to do, but we're just not paying for it. So I was like, oh, okay.
So they were cool with the arts.
They were cool with whatever I wanted to do because they're not paying for it. But they were very like, you know, always about working and like had to work, but they weren't like, you can't do that. Obviously, my brother's a drummer. My dad got him going at like 8. Yeah. He mentored him, but we didn't get any of that. We got go outside and play, whatever. Stranded Girl in the Rain, that's fine. Tyson got his own drumming lessons. Yes,
it's always the youngest.
It is always the youngest.
Yeah.
He got his like paid drumming lessons every 3 times a week.
And then you were like, "Here's a stick and a rock.
Totally, get out. Find something. Do you want some Tic Tacs here?" I was like, I can find something to do with these Tic Tacs. So anyway. Yeah, he got all that. But anyway, my parents were like, good luck. But, you know, and so I was like, I'm moving in with my boyfriend and his family. And they were like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
No, they actually were like happy because I was moving to a city and they wanted me like around people that, you know, they could trust.
I love this town, man.
It's amazing. And so then I was like, I don't know how I could possibly pay so much money for an education and, live and then not live with my boyfriend's family. And
Columbia's not cheap.
No, it wasn't cheap. It was cheaper then, but it was still like $12,000 for a year. So $6,000. I remember my first loan was $26.25 Stafford loan. And then, then I just did one semester because I couldn't figure out how to like pay for it and afford it. And so I stopped, which actually ended up being the best thing because then I just started taking improv classes in Chicago at IO.
Okay.
Well, it's called IO now. It was Improv Olympic.
Yeah.
So I started taking and I was in love. I was like, this is amazing.
So did you perform
improv?
I
did shows.
And the troops
I was on
and
teams.
things?
Yep, I was on a bunch of teams.
And then, awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. But then the problem is like they always cut the teams and then you'd start with a new team and then they'd cut you. And then I just got cut and like didn't get put on another team. And I was like, oh, do I suck? But I didn't. They did. No, but then I just got frustrated with that format because it was like, okay, well, I just want to perform. So then I started doing real theater training and then I started going to like Piven Theater and I studied there for a while and at the same time was going to community college. And then at the same time I was a nanny, which is kind of coming with the storytelling. So I was a nanny and I would go to the birthday parties with the kids and I'd always end up doing my improv like characters with the kids. So I'd be like, you kids, get over here. And then they'd be like, it's the witch. And so I would be in the corner entertaining all the kids and the moms would be like, oh, you're so good with them. You should just be a teacher. And I was like, I don't want to be a teacher. I want to perform. And then I remember meeting a guy who said that, Jim Carlson, his name was, and he was like, yeah, I just want to perform for a living. And then I was like, yeah, that's a cool way to think about it, is like just performing for a living, not like, I'm going to be a famous actress or I'm going to be on Saturday Night Live. It was like, I want to perform for a living. So then I think I like opened up my mind for that.
That moment changes everything.
It does. I was like, oh, okay, perform. And then I went to a birthday party for one of the kids I used to nanny for, and there was a lady there doing like scooter races and, you know, the parachute. And I was like, to the mom, I'm like, who's this lady? And she's like, oh, I hired her. And I was like, you hired someone to do that? And she's like, yeah, I paid her $150. And I was like, what? We had like cake and a friend over for birthday parties growing up.
Yeah.
We didn't have like entertainment.
Right.
And so I didn't even know there was a business of like entertainment. And I was like, I can do that for kids because I'm so good at playing with them. But what I'll do is like, I'll just do like all these different characters. I couldn't even say what it was. I just knew I wanted to be these characters like the witch and the blah, blah, blah. And then at the same time, I was, I had wanted to volunteer at Children's Memorial. Now it's Lurie Children's Hospital.
This was when it was in Lincoln Park.
Yeah, in Lincoln Park. Yeah. And I wanted to volunteer there. And so I went there and was all like, hi, I'm here to volunteer, you know, and they were like, there's a wait list and you got to take training. And I was like, ugh.
Oh.
It was all intense. And I thought, I'm like, hi, where's my little smock? I'll put it on today. You know, like, let's go. Let's get this going. Let me hold some babies and I'll be good. And so I just wanted to do that. And that didn't happen. And then I met a guy at an improv party who was like, hey, I heard you wanted to volunteer. He's like, I do a live TV show at the Children's Hospital. And I was like, the one that I just went to that wouldn't let me because they were on the wait list. He's like, yeah, I'm moving to LA and they're looking for a new host of this game show.
No way.
Yeah.
So wait, this is like the closed circuit TV that goes through
through the hospital. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing because I've been wanting to volunteer. And so I go, he gives me all information and I auditioned by basically watching the show once and then I had to do the show. And so it's a game show. It's called Body Parts and it's broadcast throughout the whole hospital. And if the kids feel good, they can play live. So it's shot live in the studio at the hospital.
How do they play live?
They can come from their room. They come down.
They can actually
come. It's in the studio. Right now it's on the 12th floor in the hospital. And so they can come down and come with their IV and like with they have to come with a parent or a guardian.
How often do you do this?
Every Monday.
Okay.
So every Monday for the past 15 years, I've hosted a game show called Body Parts.
I mean, it's
amazing.
It's a job, but
it started as a volunteer position. And so I volunteered for the first maybe 5 years. And then they said, we're able to pay you as a resident artist, not your full fee. So would you take this? And I was like, yeah, of course I'll take that. I'll take whatever. So so now I still volunteer half of what I would charge for a show. Man. And so I get paid for half of a show, which is amazing because I would still, if they didn't offer, I would still be doing it for free.
Incredibly rewarding. And then you're still kind of honing the craft the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're doing an interview on me on DNA Info. So that should be coming out soon. I don't know if you've heard of that.
What's DNA Info?
It's a news website called DNA Info, and it's all about Chicago, and it's like as big as the Tribune.
Do people do? I mean, I've never heard of this kind of thing. The closed circuit kind of like. Do other hospitals do?
No, it's not at a lot of children's hospitals. I don't know about any other in the nation, but I know in the area there's none.
Oh, but man, jump on this and incorporate
copyright. It's copyright.
Yeah, copyright Tracey Ellert.
This whole podcast is copyright Tracey Ellert. So yeah, that's actually another.
When this is over, you're just going to take the laptop and run away.
Yeah, no, see you later. Thank you for getting all my content down, recorded. Now this was actually a way to copyright everything. I'm going to mail it to myself.
You're going to leave her. I'm going to be tied up and gagged on this chair. Like, she took the computer. Get her. We were able to catch her because it started to rain and she just laid down and she got very dreary.
We noticed a line of Tic Tacs going out the door and we followed them down through the rain.
We got her. It's okay.
She was on the ground.
Get away! Get away!
Find your own podcast to do.
Well, man, that's brilliant. So you're basically a writer. I mean,
I'm a writer. I write all my own content and.
Aside from that, you get the light bulb at all the parties.
Okay, so I get the light bulb, and then I was at that point hosting my TV show there, and my supervisor, I told him, I said, I want to start this business, and I want to do like kids shows, but like all these characters, and he's like, oh, have you met Dot? She does story time on Wednesdays. She's a storyteller, and
where was she doing this?
At the hospital. She does. So there's different shows.
Okay.
Each day. There's Mondays body parts, Tuesdays bingo, Wednesdays story time with Dot. So I was like, oh no. So I went to go talk to Dot, and Dot is like 16 years older than me. Uh-huh. She had been storytelling for years, and she's very similar. Basically her style was what I was talking about, but nice. I didn't even know it. And we're pretty much the only two storytellers in the city that are our style. Probably in the country, I've never really seen preschool storytellers. We're both really wacky and silly and
what is the wheelhouse of like what is the
storyteller?
If you had to say, people had to say like what age group?
So I'm only preschool. Okay. I mean, it's like usually like 1 to 6. They start being like, you're doing that with your hand. We know exactly what you're doing. And I'm like, yes, I know you do. But you want, it's like just, they get to the point at like 7 where they just know everything.
I taught music pre-K through the 8th grade for 1 year at a grade school, and the little ones were so awesome.
Because they still embrace it's like that's
forget what the 5th grade. Forget
that's what adults are missing though. Is what preschool. They're the secret. Like if we could just keep that fun, imaginative play and like positive. Like we get like 7 or 8, and it's like I know what you're doing. You're just trying. You're really. That's a puppet. That's a puppet, and I'm like, don't tell the little ones. Like I try to like not be like stop being a little jerk right now. Like you gotta want to incorporate them. But so I do preschool age, which is my favorite age.
Oh, that's
I just
awesome.
love when they're beginning language and they're starting to talk, and they say they're a huge part of my show because what they say, and I also use my
You're improving off of things.
My improv training is what
reactions.
All my improv training I use with my live shows because you never know what they're gonna say, and you can't edit them. And if they don't like the show, they'll just leave. They'll be like, "Mama, I want to go. She's boring. This isn't fun. I'm going." So it's like you're good if they're staying because they won't be polite like adults at your shows.
Is just so. I mean, we seem like we might be similar, like big kids, kind of.
Yeah, we are.
I'll still read a comic book.
You want to play Stranded in the Rain, don't you?
Yeah, I do, completely.
Mine would just be maybe. Get in line.
I'll be like running.
Tyson's the runner.
We'll just cover like I'll be running in the sun.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
You sound like Native American names all of a sudden.
Running in the sun.
This is Stranded in the Rain. I am running in the sun. We
could do the Native American podcast.
But that world having a daughter. She's 5, so I know she's going to start teetering away.
Yeah.
But right now she's still, like, oh, let's play with my castle and my dolls, and you're a boy, so you can be Spider-Man.
And do you enjoy playing?
Oh my god, because it's
hard for
there
parents
are no
to
rules.
Play. Right.
I have a friend who's talking about his son once in a while, and he would say like, I don't know. I mean, we're there, and it's like now this guy's more business.
Yeah, it's hard
more
for a lot of
business sense, and he was always saying, I mean, we're there, and the train. Like, how many times can we play? It's like, what are you talking about?
I know it's
shut off life and play with the train.
That's what life is. It's playing.
To be in that world again, I can kind of tell her imagination's off the charts, so I can tell she'll kind of live there for a bit. But this moment now, when they're at that age,
it's the best.
The world, especially for somebody like you, if you're creating and that's what you're coming, like you have, that's like your canvas right there. It's enormous.
It is. And they help write my stories so much. Yeah. Like I'll be in a show and I'll be doing a story that I've done so many times, and then they'll say something, oh, she went over there because of and I'll just say, oh, it's a better ending. That's a better ending.
That's awesome.
And it is. And it's like, and they it's just so fun to be able to see what they have to say.
It's kind of a tribute to what you can do, because it's very interesting to be a one-person performer, yet still be generous at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that work in
and don't want them to like
not generous at all.
Well, I know. It's in it, and I think that is the trick with working with young kids. There's been a lot of actors who have said to me like, "Oh, what a great way to make a living acting, you know, if you ever need anyone." And I'm like, it's not a job that just anyone can jump into. You have to be able to like speak to children and know how to work with them and incorporate them, because that's that's the biggest part is like they're going to talk.
Bit of magic to you.
Yeah, you got to have some magic.
Of internal magic.
You got to have some.
So you got a little poppins going on.
I'm a little kid whisperer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And,
if you could float, it would be golden.
Oh man, imagine if I had wings.
Yeah, you wouldn't be an umbrella because then you couldn't play.
I know.
What is it again?
Stranded girl. She'd be floating girl.
Stranded
girl in the rain.
Stranded girl sounds like the most depressing superhero ever. Like Superman, Batman, get here.
I have a vivid picture of Stranded Girl.
You need to animate that. You need to get somebody to draw that.
I know, but can you be Stranded Girl? Is that like a good 8-year-old?
Oh, never mind. No, it's actually a horrible nightmare.
It's terrible. Like,
but that
was the 80s.
Yeah, or it's a horror movie that you can, write later on. Stranded Girl. I don't know.
Totally.
I'm going for dark superhero. I think there's got to be like.
Hey, it could be in my adult one-woman show.
Yeah.
Off of this
comic book, it could be a comic book.
Yeah,
work on Stranded Girl, the superhero.
Yeah,
I don't know how it works, but yeah.
Well,
what did she?
Boy in the Sun will be there.
It's Boy in the Sun and Stranded Girl. They're totally useless.
Tune in next time,
but they're here.
Tune in next time and see what happens when Boy in the Sun finds Stranded Girl.
Wow.
So
it's tragic. We would never be able to like dwell in the same space.
I know.
Because I would need the sun and you'd need rain.
I know.
See, this is Romeo and Juliet
retelling. It's already starting.
Oh,
see,
Shakespeare.
It's the play.
Who?
It's the play. And that's like I remember when I started storytelling. I remember thinking like because I was starting my own business at the time. I was a manager at a day spa, which was awful. But I was like 22 and I was managing this crazy day spa downtown. Like Oprah's boyfriend used to come in, and it was just like a high-end spa, and I just like hated every minute of it because you just had to deal with people's like the massage wasn't good, and then like I remember one lady like late for her massage, and I was just like I'm sorry, ma'am, your massage has 15 minutes left. Well, can't somebody give me a massage now? No, the schedule's already filled up and you have to pay for the massage. What? I'm not paying. There's only 15 minutes left. And I said, well, that's, your fault. You were late. Well, he's going to rub my feet then. And she stomped up the stairs and I was like, oh, I would hate to rub her feet. No, it wasn't Oprah. She usually came in after hours to get her feet rubbed.
Okay.
But anyway, so I just, hated that job. And I remember like starting my storytelling business and I used to do in-home daycares, which were weekly and all the same kids, all the same time. So I could create my content. Yeah. And if the story sucked, it was okay. It wasn't like a birthday party where you're on, this better be good, So it was like the in-home daycares I could play and have space to play. And I remember thinking like, I have to be so good and this has to be serious, like I've got it. This is my business, I'm going to, and that's what you think when you start a business. You're like, you get all serious and it's like the complete opposite. When I'd get there, I would have to be as silly and crazy.
It's tricky
to be better. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't be like, okay, we're going to sit down here and I'm going to tell you a story and this is going to be good because it's my business, So you had to be like, well, hello, and just like as crazy and relaxed and fun and then walk out and be like, okay,
It gets so tough to toggle the line because
I know.
At some point we're all artists who have to eventually become business people, and
I know
it's tricky, man. I see a lot of people like the first 2 podcasts are talking about like just how people go dark, like bright, wonderful people, and you see them just change, and it's a tricky line.
Yeah, it's tough.
If you get the gear, you seem like you have the gear.
That's why I have my Tic Tacs.
Just bam, your Tic Tacs.
I just bring them. They just help me bring me back down.
As long as it doesn't rain, you are set.
I don't want to get dark. I just have a few Tic Tacs.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Snickers bars.
Yeah,
no, but it's weird. Like, thank God, after a while, I think if you don't let it get you down,
right,
you can have that just natural gears. Because if I'm having like a crappy day,
I know
something happens. When it's
go time, it's go time. You can start to change your whole. Like, who do I think I am? Do I really think you can make a living doing that? And what are you?
Yeah,
how silly! You're going to sing Jesse's Girl, and like right.
Like, and it's
you
just like what am I doing?
Yeah,
But then the lights come on, the show starts.
And people are having a great time.
I don't know about you, but I like. We need them. We need the audience.
Yeah.
But just the fact of like, I think I had a similar moment where like I wanted to write and do my own stuff, and then we realized like I can do that, but it's not going to be the main thing that's going to help me eat. So I can keep doing that, but I'll die of starvation, and I'll be stranded in the rain. So but once I
like my improv teams were keep food on the table for me. It was like
whenever I got the call for the cover band thing, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna 150 times a year, sing Jesse's Girl, whatever." Right. Something clicked, and I remembered 13-year-old Robby who said, "I want to sing for a living."
Right. Exactly.
And now, not tainted, and I deal with the elite. We're like a rich man's toy, that
of
probably
course.
from hearing stories from you. Oh my God, I did one. We did a birthday party for some lady. She could have used a storyteller because we did this party. It was like at the Willis Tower. It might have been Sears Tower at the time. Who knows? But anyway, there's this guy and he's exhausted. He's sitting on a couch, exhausted. And we're like, "Whoa, what's going on,
like a guest?"
Man? No. He was the couch maker who she wanted 2 couches with pillows just randomly on the dance floor where we were performing. She decided that the stitching was wrong, so he had to restitch and remake these pillows, and he was there all night
just
and
for
all
the
day.
party?
Just for the party. Like, and it's just amazing the things you see. So I still see that stuff, the elitist.
You're a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll leave some birthday parties and I'll be like, I'm never doing a birthday party again. Because it's like there are all these elite people and they're like, oh, we want to have a storyteller, and then they talk the entire show and the kids
while you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like an ongoing issue is birthday parties. The parents, I get it. I'm a parent. I want to talk to adults because you're with children a lot, and like I'm with children all the time.
Wait, clarify. Are you saying like they're talking amongst themselves and it's really loud, or they are kind of engaging in the show when they shouldn't?
No. They're talking amongst themselves in front of the show. So the kids are all seated. We're ready to start the show, and the parents are saying, "Well, and I told her, I said, if we're going to go to this school, and I had my board, and
that's
I
just dumb.
And they'll be like, oh, it's cute, and they'll just keep talking and talking, and then I say, hey kids, tell your moms and dads to be good listeners. And that's the only
that's your shut the heck up.
Yeah, that's shut up. But then I go ahead, do it.
Yeah,
tell them right now. And then they'll be like, Mom, be a good listener.
Have you ever gotten the look?
Yeah, they give me like are you serious?
This is my house.
Paying you.
Yeah. And
it's like, just go in the other room, guys. Like, go in the back room. I don't care where you go. Like, I can handle all these kids. But not when you're talking, because then they just get distracted. So
is there a way to like...
I know about being rich people's toy. And then it's like, you hired me for your kids, and you just want to show off your house and like talk. And it's like...
Is there a way to... have you found a way to like... Yeah, like in the pre-order...
I say that, but when it comes to it,
people do what they do.
Yeah, and like also if you're hosting a party, these people don't want to be the jerk and say like, guys, that's enough. The kids are listening because they're having a party and it's fun.
At some point, like,
so you kind of just have to go with it, and then I go, oh well,
At some point internally, are you able to like?
My check.
I'm able to disconnect when it's happening.
Yeah,
like I can walk
still
away
do my
and
show.
that went over great and everything, but it's almost like I've learned to kind of do the same show if there are 5 people there.
Yes.
Than if there are 5,000 people there.
No, I do the same show, and
it's
Yeah.
But yours is trickier than mine.
It's tricky because if then all of a sudden and also like your job is to entertain the children, and if they're distracted and they can't focus, then you feel like you're not a good storyteller or a good entertainer, because it's like, oh, the kids are, it's like, well, they can't concentrate because they can't listen because you guys are talking.
Yeah, they're hindering your stuff.
And kids are so like, oh, a cloud, or they're like,
so it's hard.
Wait a minute, what's that like? Let me stick my finger in. So it's like, okay, they need to be able to focus. So it doesn't happen all the time, but I do know, like, before I just keep the parents in the other room. They're welcome to like go. I can handle all the kids.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with a whole group of kids by myself. I can
brilliant,
catch
though,
them.
man.
So,
it sounds so impressive, but I do think it's more difficult. My dad always told me, be a fan of whoever you're on stage with, and just think of the music, don't think of the crowd, and then they'll come if it's real. Because
you believe in what you're doing.
But then that it stops me from I still work with some people who are like, oh God, this lady's looking at me, so just because I'm singing, call me mate. Like, who cares? You're sing, dance, do your thing, and that disconnect. It allows you to connect more easily, as oddly as that sounds,
Right, yeah, that's a good... So was your dad a performer?
Yeah, he was a singer, in the 60s and stuff.
Oh, that's so nice that he could give you that advice.
I sang with him for about, 10 years or something.
Okay.
So he was right next to me on stage.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
so you were like a
classy,
little
cool
Jackson
guy.
5 with
yeah,
one?
he performed
Jackson
with the
2?
Jackson 5.
He did?
Not with, but
oh
he did a show with the Jackson 5.
Has he had a podcast yet?
He has
needs
not.
one.
Yeah, he does need one.
Yeah.
I'd need to get his whole group. Yeah, they were like, I always say they were like a footnote.
They were, what did they do, open for the Jackson?
At the time, they were at the same level. It was right before Motown called.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because Jackson 5 are from Northwest Indiana.
Oh,
my dad's group from Northwest Indiana.
Word.
So there's the poster, and it says the Jackson 5, and they were called the Enchanters, you know, they're one of those old school doo-wop names.
So
my mom had Michael on her knee, and the whole thing. Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
There's a poster. I'll put it on the website or something, but they still have the poster, and it's, you know. So now whenever my dad or his like old band members, who basically were my first instructors in a way, whenever they would talk about Michael Jackson, they'd all, you know, and Michael, little Michael, because they had that whole night with this kid.
That's
know?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you got your voice from your dad?
Yeah, not my mom. Worst voice in the world.
Yeah.
I love mom, but it's,
No. My mom is an
your
amazing
mom
singer.
sings.
Yeah, and my dad plays the drums. But I remember, like, so my other sister has an amazing voice, but she is so shy. My mom said I was blessed with other talents.
Oh, no! She did that?
Oh, my gosh! Because I remember when I started to perform in high school, she kept asking my sister to do this song, and she's like, oh, Shannon's so shy, she doesn't want to do it. Because my sister she has to, like, close her eyes. She's got a gorgeous voice, but she gets so shy.
Blessed with other talents.
And so I was like, Mom, I'll sing. Just, you know what? Don't worry about Shannon. Let me do it. And she goes, Tracey, you were blessed with other talents. Nicest way to say
How
you
old were
suck.
you?
I was in high school, and I was like, okay,
I get it. All
and I
right,
tell everyone that, and I kind of work it into my storytelling show.
Can't I sing? No, you're not.
It's not that you can't sing. You're just blessed with other talents.
Your singing talent is not to the level I would enjoy.
Yeah. It's like the sweetest, most loving way to say you suck. It's like you're not at all good. And ask Tyson. He's like, he just says it not nicely. He's just like, yeah, no, you don't need to sing on this. We just finished a demo for a TV show.
Yeah, so I want to hear about this too. So okay, first off, like how many years?
So
have
storytelling,
you been doing the storytelling
9 or 10 years since
so you're rocking that out.
2002. I started.
And if people
what year is this?
Want to like
14,
hire you,
12 years I've been storytelling. So they go to beballyhoo.com.
Beballyhoo.
Beballyhoo. It used to be Birthday Ballyhoo, but I didn't want to limit myself to
birthday
parties.
Bally?
BALLYHOO, beballyhoo.com.
And it's just the letter B?
So 2 B's, yeah. BBALLYHOO.com.
Cool, man.
Beballyhoo.com.
I can't wait to check this out.
There's a commercial on there. You can see my storytelling prowesses in the commercial of my show. So people can, and I did that because a lot of people were like, oh, you're going to read a book. And I'm also not like, I don't like to sell myself. I'd rather
that.
So you get on the phone, you're like, I do a live show. It's like a one-woman show, and they're still like, huh? And so I made this commercial so they could see. I just say, go right to my website. You can see like my style. I play the characters. I have props. I use costumes. Why is it
sometimes, I mean, like people who are like kind of, you know, outwardly social on stage or even in life, but when it comes, and you want the attention. We want people to love what we do. Right. But I can't, like, what do you know, I'm really good. You can say that.
It's just strange. And like you have to like prepare, I feel like, the pitch too. You know what I mean? The elevator pitch.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you just have to, and also my show, I just feel like you have to see it to know, like, because also there's not a lot of storytellers like me. I mean, I've heard of like book readers, like, or there's storytellers that just speak, you know, that are more for adults.
I want to see this. I can't wait to see. I have to see this.
You can come November 14th.
What's November 14th?
I'll be at the Bookseller in Lincoln Square.
Oh, nice.
At 11 a.m.
So
is Molly in school all day?
Maybe I'll see if I can
skip school. You don't need school.
The lesson out there, kids.
Actually, my stories all have like really nice lessons too about like, you know, not making fun of kids or
that's cool.
Being generous or being kind or sharing.
So there's a moral somewhere in there.
There's always a moral. Yeah, it's always like based on like situations that kids are going through.
So you're creative, you're hilarious, but then you'll make sure there's a little bit of an after-school special vibe.
Totally.
So
there's like
important.
A story about these 2 little girls and their Beanie Babies are my props. You know, one has like wild, crazy curly hair and it always hurts to comb it. So she doesn't want to comb it this day and her hair's all in her face. And when she gets to school, everyone starts laughing at her. So I explore the whole idea about laughing at someone, and I phrase it as, you know, they thought she was being silly, so they started to laugh because they thought she was trying to be silly, but she wasn't. And she didn't like it when they were laughing at her. And so she got really sad about that. Well, then another girl comes along and she's another beanie with the hair sticking straight up, like the troll hair.
Yeah.
And she always liked to make people laugh. And then I go, I can relate. And then, so she comes along and then she's like, what are you so sad about? What's the matter? Huh? And then she's like, everyone's making fun of my hair. And then she says, oh, let me tell you a story about my hair, because her hair is sticking straight up. And so she goes and combs her hair and runs down the stairs. And as soon as she runs down the stairs, it comes back up.
Wow.
And so it's this whole big story. But the moral of it is like also about like making fun of people, but also like, you got to comb your hair and get ready for school, but then also about making people laugh and like enjoying laughing
that is
at
so
yourself,
awesome.
And like, so there's all these embedded, like, the parents get it.
It doesn't do any good. I mean,
like,
I don't know.
I
at
definitely
that
don't.
age, if it's just goofy and there's nothing to be learned, like something.
Right, like that.
Yeah, because they're still getting
That's why my new TV
yeah.
show is going to be a hit.
So how did this happen here? You obviously it's working out. I mean,
so it's doing the storytelling.
Content,
yeah. And then I started like wanting to do more making videos for children.
So you made a pilot?
So, well, first I started like investigating and I wanted to learn more about behind the scenes. So I found this company, Spiffy Pictures, which is a local company.
Nice.
And the creators and the creators of the company and creators of that show, Jack's Big Music Show. Mm-hmm. One of them is Cookie Monster, who you might know. Yeah. So he created the show called Jack's Big Music Show. But before that, I went to them and said like, hi guys, do you want a free intern? Like, I don't go to school anywhere, but because I just finished like my associate's degree, and I was a storyteller at that point, so I wasn't going to school. I was doing my business, and so I said I'd love to I want to learn, because they were making their own TV. They were making these videos for they're called interstitials. They were making them for this company. It used to be Noggin, now it's Nick Jr., but Noggin, and so they were like, yeah, sure. So we love free help, and so I started to become friends with them and learn. There's the other side of the business of like making children's media. Wow. And so I really wanted to get into that with my stories and start turning my stories into like videos. And so I learned a lot from them. And then basically they hired me to work on the set of that show. Once they got that show, I'd already been interning with them. And then once they got Jack's Big Music Show, they hired me as the script supervisor, which was amazing because I'd never done that. And I worked on the set for 2 seasons. I got to meet Jon Stewart, which was amazing. And he knew my character, Dancy Nancy.
How did you make the jump from like being sort of behind the scenes to getting on stage?
Well, because they knew I was a storyteller. So they knew my whole background. Okay. And they said, we wrote a character for you for the show. And I was like, awesome. Yes. So they were like, she's called Dancy Nancy, and you just come on and dance. And I just come on for the dance party episode and I dance, and I'm just like this wacky dancer. So
this is
you might want to watch it and steal some of my moves.
I can do that.
You probably can.
I'm always trying to
Copyright
learn.
Tracey Ellert. I'll let you have them though. So anyway,
I'll have to write that somewhere on my body every time I bust out one of your moves.
Yeah, just do it. Lift it up.
All right, I'll get a tattoo.
Put my website on there next to it. So anyway, they knew. I mean, and I had been interning for them for a while, and then they're like, we got a show. We're gonna hire you as the script supervisor so you can work on the show. And then I got to learn how got to watch Cookie Monster direct. I got into all these amazing puppeteers. I mean, like Big Bird and the new Big Bird.
When you're bringing yours to life and you're doing like the show content, you need the audience because wait, let me like back up to like when you're like at home or wherever you are when you're creating. You're creating kind of like a model more or less of your story. But then like, are you just creating like point A and then point B, like beginning and
I use
ending?
my improv to get me there.
Yeah, okay.
Most of the time. So, and I'll use my improv.
So you have your moral, you have your idea more or less.
That's when I'm creating. There's stories that are set, and I know how the story goes, and I've done that story so many times that I know. But I'll still improvise. I never write down what I'm saying and memorize what I'm saying as the character. So, so whatever, and I'll play with it. And that's what I like, because I can bring more, something different to the story every time. So it doesn't feel, it's like you're singing the same song. Yeah. You got to do some different dance move, right? A little something to make it like, so there's a ton of, I have maybe like 30 stories that are set, that I know what happens in the story, that I know the dialogue, I know what they say to each other, and most of the time it's the same dialogue, but I'll improvise. And then also if kids get involved in the story, that also is something new and fresh. So that's fun. But then if I'm creating a new story, then I'll say exactly like you said. I know I got to go to point A to point B. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know it's going to be about this. And like, so I just made up a new story about, like I was like, okay, it's about the sun and it's kind of us, the sun in the rain, and how together they
working my way into your world. See, it's happening.
It's happening. It's coming full circle. So they make a rainbow, and I was like, oh, this could be cool about like fighting, and when you come together and you play together, they can make a rainbow. So
That's brilliant. That's great.
I don't really have like set props yet. I did know that, like, you know, those pop-up tunnels that the kids play in?
Yeah.
So
there's one right behind me.
Oh, is it rainbow colored?
No, it's
what
actually a
color is
Lion King.
Shoot.
Wait,
Okay, if you ever see one that's a rainbow colored,
I will call.
Yeah, I need it. So it's like boom, and it pops out like a rainbow. So that's my prop, because I had seen that. I was like, ooh, this is so fun. It's either going to be a rainbow or barfing. Because, you know, it's like, and it would come flying out. So, like, that's fun.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a barfing story, which I haven't done yet, but I'm going to do something about vomiting, because I'm sure kids want to talk about that. They love vomiting and farting and pooping. And I even have a mini toilet. But anyway,
vomiting,
so,
farting,
like,
pooping.
exactly.
Oh,
that's my system is like, okay, I know it's going to be a story about the, you know, the rain and the sun, and they fight, and it's my turn. No. But when they came together, they made a rainbow.
That is awesome.
You know, and so I don't write down the words at all, and exactly, I still do in-home daycare.
So then the TV show.
So the TV show is scripted.
You're bringing that? Okay.
So I after working on Jack's music show, I started working on my own show called What's the Big Idea, which I didn't bring for you today. No, I did bring. I have one for you.
Oh, great.
I have one for you. Okay, so I made a DVD for children.
Nice.
Called What's the Big Idea? I produced it. I wrote it. I wrote it with that other storyteller that got me started. Once I saw her style, her name is Dot.
Okay.
She got me started. She's like, oh, you remind me of me when I was young. I got all these in-home daycares. I can't do. I'm too busy, and I also don't have anybody, because, you know, when it's like when someone knows like what they want, and then you don't have anyone to recommend because you're busy. So she was great, because she was like, I need a little me, and so
we all
she
need that person.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
So she was awesome. She was a great mentor. We have a different aesthetic, but like it's very similar. We're silly, interactive. We perform the whole story. And so she got me started storytelling. And then I went to her with this idea for What's the Big Idea? I was like, it's this show about two characters that don't really talk a lot, but they go through their day. And so it's a whole day of like a preschooler, and there's not a lot of talking. And I'll give you one. And so anyway, we made it. We wrote it together. I came up with the concept, and then she and I helped write each episode out. And so we did all this work, and my brother Tyson did the amazing sound effects on it, and the sound for it, and the opening song, and he let me sing it, which, you know how he feels about my voice. And
I need to hear the singing. So it's on what you're giving me. I'll hear you singing.
Yeah, you'll hear my opening song with Dot. And so we created it, and I actually met the woman who created the entire set and props for. She was the artistic director for Jack's Big Music Show. She basically was like my vision. She like makes props. So I was like, I need you. I was like, I some props I can't find, and I need like a cloud that does like a thing. And that's what she does. She's amazing. She's in her 50s, and she used to do advertising. She'd make huge fake French fries. And so she designed the set for Jack's Big Music Show. So when you watch Dancy Nancy, look at the clubhouse that I'm in and all the props and sets. She made all of them. She's an amazing artist.
Wow.
So I created a company with her called Monkey Dog. And so we've created this company, and we want to make kids media together. So we made this first DVD called What's the Big Idea? And we finished it, and we printed like 3,000 DVDs, and then like apps were the thing, and nobody's buying DVDs anymore. So now we're like, okay, we have all these DVDs, and like I sell them at my shows and stuff, but I still want to sell that.
Now in the world of streaming, have you thought of like finding a way to the whole Netflix thing?
So that's what we're on to next. Okay. So we have that, and then I just created a new show that is kind of encompassing my live story show, and the name of it is called The Story Room, and it's this host of The Story Room, and I call it like a hybrid. I don't know how much I should say about this, because I don't want any copyright.
Copyright, Tracey Ellert.
This is real copyright.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean,
it's basically a room, a story. It's a story show. It's my live story show.
Do you have kids in the?
No,
okay.
I don't. And so I talk to the kids through the camera. And so I try to encompass my story show, but I'm in a story room. And so it's a mixture of puppets. I play all these crazy characters, and I have wigs and glasses, and so I'm many characters. It's kind of like Carol Burnett's show, maybe. I don't really remember that show, but like
it's
all me, except for the puppets. There's one puppet that's not me. I hired we worked with these amazing puppeteers. These two guys from
the other show,
Michigan. Yeah, they work on all the other productions of the puppet stuff, and they made these beautiful puppets for it, and they puppeteered one of the puppets for it. They're amazing. And so anyway,
man, your overhead on something, it's the kind of show that somebody would like to pick up, because
it's
the cost
and the quality of it is so amazing, because all the people that worked on it are so excited about it, and they want the work in the future, that they all donated their time. And like our cinematographer is amazing. He's the guy who shot Jack's Big Music Show, and
they believe in your
and he's
idea.
unbelievable. Yeah, and they believed in it, and we all had the most. It was. I mean, I'm saying we all had the most amazing experience. I hope they did. Did you?
Well, what?
So
what
we
is
shot
the
it.
What will the show, or what's the working title of the show?
So it's called The Story Room.
The Story Room.
And so right now we're in like the start of trying to sell it. So hopefully it's going to be on
Good
Netflix
luck,
or Amazon.
man.
I know we've got the demo. My brother and I edited it together, and he's gonna do the music and the opening music, and there's a couple other sounds bites in there, and it's unbelievable. And I'm really excited about it. So that's my thing is like this it's amazing. We love it. And
it's all about finding your own way. Like there's everybody wants to be an actor or singer or whatever, the artist people, but it's just
I think it's being
to,
open
like,
to
be your own muse.
and being open to like back in the day when I was like, I just want to perform for a living, and it's like, okay, I've been drawn with children, like I'm good with children. I know I'm just always
you took yourself
good with
right
children.
out of nothing against that world, but you took yourself out of like that cattle call, that race where it just is everybody's doing this, everyone's going to audition for this role, everybody's going to try to get this Playhouse gig, like you made your own Playhouse. That is
exactly
awesome.
And I would still love to be in a movie and like on a TV show and stuff, but
well, then how
I'm
did
like,
that
that's
happen?
not
Like while doing this, you got an agent?
I
or?
have an agent.
Okay.
Yeah, because also I was like, at the meantime, like it'd be great to like be able to get some more cash for commercials or something. So I got an agent, and that was after also being on Nick Jr.'s show that I was like, okay, maybe could be on some other TV shows.
You springboarded from that to get an agent, kind of?
Well, I knew a friend. It was actually a friend opened an agency, and I talked with her and was like, okay, let's do this. And so I signed on with them, and I auditioned for a lot of commercials that it's like, oh, so bad. So bad. And it's just, you feel bad after leaving. And you're like, oh, I could have done that a different way. I'm like, I could have said that boring sentence like so many other ways. It's not that fun. But then what was amazing is I got the call one day and they were like, do you want to audition for a featured extra part in a movie called Divergent, Kate Winslet star? I'm like, yeah. So I had to go and audition. I had to go cry on demand.
You had to cry on demand. How did that work out
for an
you?
iPhone for the assistant director?
Get out of here.
No, in front of the two other women who were auditioning. And we had to like sit in this.
Who went first?
It's me.
Oh,
I know. And I was like, "Don't steal my cry." This is Stranded Girl cry here. This has been perfected since Stranded Girl was crying that she got stranded. So I had to like, and then actually it was really funny because like I had to cry. And so then when we actually shot it, they did a bunch of takes. Obviously it's not, but I was like in my head secretly like getting pissed at Kate Winslet because I was like, you're getting paid a lot. Like, don't mess this scene up. I'm not getting paid as much, and I'm crying. I'm doing a lot more work than you are right now, Kate. I didn't say that to her. I was going to.
How hard was it for you to get to that place where you had to cry?
It was. I'm not like an easy crier. Like I don't like just start bawling. But so it's easier because I have a child, and so I just used that as a trigger of like anything. Like, and it was a scene about a mom losing her child. So like I try to just like, but it takes me a while to build up to it. So I can start getting into it and like absorbing the character and the sadness. But then it's like, then they're like, cut. We're gonna do it again. Okay, and then I'm like, wait, what was? And then I have to like redo it.
Oh,
so
man. When you're
it's actually really nerve-wracking.
Extra, I mean, they probably don't give you as much love and patience.
Well, they're not even, it actually wasn't even, the scene wasn't really even just on me. Like not everyone, so it's like this thing's happening, cut to the mom, so like they're shooting me with that camera.
How many times did you have to cry, do you think?
I think like 15 times.
Oh my God.
And I was like, Kate, get it right. No.
I
stood up at one point. I was like, that's enough, Kate. Okay, you get $15,000 for that line.
What is Kate?
Can't you get it right?
Delivering a line and you're like,
over here bawling. No, the scene, no, it's actually a kid. My son goes up and like cuts his hand and he drops blood into the other bowl, which is like and I have to watch him do that and then cry. So she actually wasn't in the scene. I thought it was funny to like get pissed at her for like being some featured extra. Like, the Academy Award winning, like enough.
You went
get
to her.
It right.
You went to
that was a really good cry.
You went to her trailer like, just get it right. No, like, I'm not even in this scene. Just get it right.
They're pulling me. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm a featured extra. Kate.
What is your name?
Ma'am, I'm in this movie.
Oh my God, aren't you fancy Nancy, Dancy Nancy?
Don't you know who I am?
You don't even have the name right. Oh.
It's fine. I'm Dancy Nancy. Let me talk to Kate. Kate? So anyway,
it should have been you instead of Leo.
Yeah.
You should have sang. You should have sang. Oh wait, I'm crying. Roll film. Roll film. I'm crying now. I have it. I hate you, Kate Winslet. I hate you. I love you. I love you so much. So
you could be in one of my story shows. You're a really good player. Your improv is really good.
I do more musical improv. I don't know if Tyson ever talks about that. Yeah, well, we do "I'm Yours" by Jason Mraz. That reggae is the easiest one. Yeah, and usually I'll ask somebody in the crowd something about themselves, and then I'll write a song about them.
Oh, and you do like an improv song?
Yeah, I'll do like an improv
that's so
song.
Cool.
Yeah,
they had at I.O. There was a team called Baby Wants Candy.
Oh, okay.
And they do an improvised musical. Have you ever seen it?
No.
You have to go see it. It's amazing. You'll love it.
I'm so mad. A friend of mine.
You have to take your wife on a little hot date and go see it.
I can't remember his name. So he was going to be an improv. He was going to be a guest, and he teaches improv in L.A. And he was a big wig over at Second City for a bit. But anyway, he got me free tickets to I.O. because when he comes to town, he could just walk onto the stage.
Well, they're called the Deltones now at I.O.
Oh, really?
Because Baby Wants Candy, the group that formed it, wanted, I think, more money.
Oh, but you should have. Your brother had an invite. I had like 3 free tickets. Nobody was able to go, and then he like bailed at the last minute. He should have just told you.
I know.
Well, now you're in my
you should go see
radar.
Baby Wants Candy is here, but they don't play at I.O. anymore. It's somewhere else. But you should go see them. It's an improvised musical, and they're really awesome. And actually, you should do it if you're interested in performing. It's great. You'd be really good at it.
Yeah,
you'd be really good
about that a lot. Somebody approached me from Second City. Because they happened to be at our show when I did the I'm Yours thing.
Oh,
yeah.
You should go see one.
But they were talking about something.
I was going to do that, but my mom said I was blessed with other talents. So I was like, I can't do the improvised musical, so oh well.
Well, yeah, but I'd like to get more into where you're at. Like I've been wanting to take improv. I've been talking about studying more improv.
It's so fun.
So much.
It's just so fun. I feel like it keeps that playful energy alive and
it's become so popular. I mean, ever since the whole Who's Line thing.
Yep, Who's Line, and
now
Saturday Night Live. I feel like is
yeah.
So much bigger.
And then those guys are like Wayne Brady I think has his own like running Vegas show.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like he's doing just fine. Yeah, I think that's where he does his game show because he's whatever. I can't remember what game show he hosts. But then he does an actual running Vegas show, and it's just his improv all night long.
Yeah, that's so fun.
It's out there.
So there you go. See, and keep that open channel to what you do performing. And maybe you
that's
won't.
Next.
Maybe Jesse's Girl will be history for you. And
I'm always searching for something, and I'm okay with where I am. Because the gig that I have, we were just talking about, I might be going to Cancun, and and then your brother's coming with me to Alaska.
I know about Alaska. Yeah, that's exciting.
But I like the whole 6-month tour, being away. I want to be home. Like I actually like coming home.
I know.
So if there's a way to do all that and still be somewhat local, even I was just your brother might work on some post production on this film that we put together, and it's not the very little improv in that. I actually wrote it. Sun? No, Boy in the Sun.
It's called Boy in the Sun.
No, it's like an action thing.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I get to
Do I get to see it?
Yes,
when do we get to see it? Are you going to have
like
a screening?
Yeah, we're going to do it somewhere. I mean, it's in post production hell right now.
Okay.
So there has to be some special effects and the audio thing.
I know. We were just in post for my TV show,
the
and it takes forever.
Thing is even worse.
Well, yeah, when you're not able to pay for the professionals, it's that's what Tyson. He's amazing. He's talented in so many things, but he was able to edit it, and I was able to sit there and go, okay, can we move that around? Okay, and I know basic editing, but not Final Cut, and he used that, and he's really good at it.
You need that though. If you have the creative mind, and then you have somebody who can do the technical.
Yeah. I mean, he's also pretty creative, so that was helpful. Great. He's like, this doesn't look good like that. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Switch it to the other one. Nice. So that was really nice, but it's still hard because there is a scene that we need some special effects stuff too that. Hopefully we're going to get solved. Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, it's a demo. So, yeah, well, that's exciting. I'd like to see that.
My brother directed it, and he was unhappy with some of the, I don't know, blood splattering or something. Some of the effects that they put in he didn't like. So I don't know what's going, and then there's an audio thing, but I got
some holdups,
the experience.
It's so fun though, isn't it?
I was trained in the martial arts most of my life.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, my dad's like crazy martial arts guy.
Oh my
like
gosh.
crazy awesome.
Were you the last kid?
No, there's 6 of us.
What?
I was number 2.
Oh, I was gonna say because you got all this like training.
There's all
and
this,
it's like you got the Tyson treatment over there with your martial
Oh,
arts
no.
and your
My dad was
singing.
the worst. My youngest brother,
Got all
my
of
brother
it.
Chad, actually is
everything.
a way better martial artist than any of us, and he got a lot of attention from my dad. Where my dad would be like, "All right, attack me."
Yeah.
I'd end up on the ground,
and you'd be like,
"Well, how did you?
Yeah.
How did you? Okay, now try to kick me."
Yeah.
It took a very long time. My dad
Wow.
is brilliant in a lot of different styles
Wow.
too. Worst teacher in the world.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
So it took a long time
That's
to start.
amazing that you got the martial arts background. That makes
Yeah.
sense too with some of your dancing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, the movement. And
Yeah. There's some
flexibility.
We just did like a promo video, and Tyson and I actually work on that. I'm like, at the end, if I'm going to jump into a spin kick, and you hit the drum on the spin
he
kick.
can get in there with you. He was a
so
big
he's-
Van Damme fan.
Oh, I know. He tells me, little man crush, a little Van Damme man crush.
He used to be able to do some of the stunts.
He told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says there's a picture.
So
floating
that's
around.
what happened, I guess, when I was playing Stranded Girl, and I was like, "Find your own thing."
like,
he
"I'm
was
going
over
to
there,
fight like
he's
Van Damme.
I'll be like Van Damme. So
And I will use these sticks. Wait, sticks.
yeah, yeah.
Hold
Oh,
on,
wait
drums.
a minute. Yeah. And,
Wow, and that's how.
that's
And
how it
that's why he's
happened.
not an action
The
star.
end.
He turned into a drummer.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I got to like fight with people I shouldn't
Wow.
be fighting with. Well,
So you were pretty good.
Well, I was with some they had like some MMA guys in scenes with me.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
got to do that.
Wow.
And I actually felt pretty good with them.
Wow.
Like, okay, I can hang. It's all right.
So do you still keep up with it now? Do
You know,
you like
I'll do-
chop a block of wood every now and then? Like, is this?
I'll do.
Are these like real
I'll do-
cracks in
these
this
are real
table, or you
cracks,
just
yes.
you just got
I
mad
just
one night?
headbutt walls everywhere I go.
Four cracks on
No,
this table
the only
are
thing
from
I'm
you.
really breaking like are the cookies you're looking at. Like wait, say, and then I put it in my mouth.
Okay.
But I whatchamacallit, it there's one scene where I have a fight scene with a guy, and he's a 6-time international taekwondo champion.
Oh,
Like,
in real life?
Yeah, like he
Oh.
beat his last title. He beat the Japan's champion. I
Oh
believe.
my gosh.
And that just to be like face to face with this guy, and I've trained. I'm pretty fast. I've got my
You
stuff
still got
down.
it? You
Yeah, I
still
still
got
got
it?
it.
Okay.
Oh wait, when you see the movie, if this movie ever gets finished, you're gonna see me like jumping and kicking and running
But
up walls.
I can
and,
see you doing
I'm
that. Like I see with
Yeah.
your energy on
It's cool.
stage. Like, but that's going to be a totally
be-
different thing.
Yeah, it'll be weird. Me with guns.
Wow,
and
I can't
all
wait
that.
to. Oh my gosh.
But to be face to face with this guy.
And fight him? So did you have to like fake
I had
fight
to-
him in this?
Yeah, and it's so different when it's somebody who's been trained since they were 3. And I mean, international champion, so it's a whole different wheelhouse.
Was it
You know,
amazing?
I've trained with like black belts and a lot of different people like that, and it's like, okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might be a little
It's
faster
okay.
than
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
This guy, it was like his legs. I always tell people it looked like Superman just like had hammers and was like it was the most powerful, craziest. The one scene where
That
they're
must
like,
have been
okay,
so
here's
cool.
a pass. He's going to do like a jumping kick at you or something, and you have to like dodge. And I'm the hero.
Right.
And literally, I'm
So
like
you gotta
flailing.
beat him,
The first
right?
time he came at me, I flailed my arms like a little girl. Like
Cut,
everyone
cut,
yelled at me like,
cut.
"You're supposed to be tough." But it was unnerving.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
there's one scene where he's supposed to kick me in the chest. Like I'm supposed to take a kick from this guy.
You're like-
and he's just said,
You're like, who
"Sweetest
wrote
dude."
this?
Yeah, and he's from maybe Saudi Arabia. I can't remember exactly. I think
Okay.
that's like his homeland. But he's sweetest dude in the whole world. And he's like, "Hey, don't worry. Just I'll kick you right in the chest. Don't worry, I will not hurt you. Like you're gonna kill me. You
Right.
won't hurt me. I
Right,
won't feel
right.
it. It'll
Yeah, I'm
just
not
be
worried about that.
instantaneous death. I'm
Right.
sure, no pain involved, just afterlife." But then he comes like a bull, just raging at me, jumps in the air, throws his kick, looks crazy, and then when he gets to me, it's like just a little tap, like a love tap. So the
Unbelievable.
control that he had in his body.
So don't you kind of need to be like a stunt person to do that?
Well,
Like-
I used to do a lot of stunt work in some earlier
did you?
independent
Like
films.
as work?
Now, I didn't jump off of, I'm not like
Crazy, like,
yeah, I'll do what I
heights
can
or-
do.
yeah.
I've jumped into like running cars
Oh,
and
okay.
moving trucks.
All right,
and
you'll do
mostly,
some-
yeah, I can fly over the tables, but mostly it's the fight stuff that I feel, But I like physical acting, so it's almost
Yeah.
more fun to get beat up
Yeah.
than it is to win the
Yeah.
fight. Because there's more
Yeah.
to it, and you have angst, and you have to, act. But that stuff,
That's
fighting
crazy.
with that guy, and then I got to ride in a helicopter.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And I'm not gun guy, but they had
Yeah.
this colonel who he led like the only troop from the Midwest to Afghanistan, like 3 tours with no injuries. They never lost a guy.
Oh my gosh.
So he like showed,
He's in the film?
well, he was our weapons expert, him
Oh my
and
gosh.
half of the troop came with him. So I'm not gun guy, but they like had me,
Yeah, yeah.
So if you
You
see
had to
me
be a gun
early
guy in
on,
it?
there's scenes
Can you
like
tell you're not gun guy?
no, behind the scenes.
Oh.
There are a few like things where the clip's falling out. I'm like, I
Yeah.
just and his head's just in his hand, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But then by the time I get to the movie, wait till you see me. I'm like, yeah, I totally look like I know what I'm doing.
I wanna
But those
see it.
experiences are just so.
I'll trade you my DVD for your film.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll get you the free whenever it really because they're
All
going
right. What are you guys
going
to do with it?
At first, I know they wanted to just push it right through the film festival, because it's a little different. It's like a spy thing, but it kind of looks sideways at the genre. I like to
Okay.
have more fun with it.
Okay.
There's a scene, I guess it's a spoiler, but I don't know.
I don't
At the
know.
rate, nobody may ever
Yeah.
see this thing. I got such a kick out of one of the, I think it was one of the Mission Impossible movies.
Mm-hmm.
They have like Tom Cruise, he's on the phone and they say something like, a mile due
Right.
west. And he like sprints this mile, and then he gets to this point where he has like the fight of his life. And I
Right.
thought, well, that's just weird.
Yeah.
So in my movie, I actually wrote a scene where I'm on the phone, and they're like, I even added like a half mile to it, a mile and a half.
Right.
Due
So
west.
ridiculous.
So I run this thing, and I'm with like a younger agent. And I'm starting to trot. He's like, I've got it. And he just sprints, like Mel Gibson in the 80s. And when he gets to the end of it, he just gets his butt kicked. He just gets his ass kicked.
Right. Oh,
'Cause
good.
when
So
he
you're
gets there, he's
making
like,
yeah, and you do that. And
yeah, I'm like, that's
great.
reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
That's
we're going to
great.
work together.
Yeah, we
Because you
are.
would work in something like that.
Yeah,
I would make you like an
definitely.
improv crying mother.
Yeah, I could be an improv
who
crying
tells
mother.
stories.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, like
stranded.
outside of that realm, like if you had the choice of something you'd want to play, like what is there like a role like you would be interested in sinking your teeth into, like
Yeah, I would love to do some. I feel like this sounds horrible, but I do you remember Monster?
the
Charlize Theron.
I never.
I'm really good at characters that are like kind of crazy.
She's
like,
a little dark and
dark and crazy because. Like, I mean, when you see my show, like, I can
Yeah.
do, like, really ridiculous characters and, like, crazy, creepy, like I'm good at, like, distorting my face. And, like, I would like to do, like, a really intense,
where
like,
there's no boundaries. You're just
character
going.
that's just, like, whoa, she's, like, crazy and messed
even
up.
even
like,
in like the darkness,
yeah, if it was good.
serving the character.
Yeah,
and
serving, like,
the
that
story in a
movie
good
was
way.
unbelievable. And, like, I would really have, like, I always feel like I would have played that character
Because there's
well.
you're talking like some deep, like some dark depth and everything.
Like I would love to play like that. Really, I mean, and that
That's
story
calling
is so
out to you.
disturbing, but
Yeah.
like that character, I felt like was so rich and just like,
Which is awesome because it makes sense because you're living in this comedic improv
Yeah.
world. So to go somewhere else, just to
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and I always feel like, oh, like Robin Williams. It's like, okay, there's all these like
Amazing.
comedic, but I'm not like depressed.
Yeah.
But like there's a lot of these amazing comedians where you're like, I just find it so crazy that like, because I feel like in comedy you're really on, like I am anyway, I'm very honest in my shows, and
Yeah.
like a lot of the time I entertain the adults in the kids show because I'll say something really honest about like parenting or like, something that they can relate to.
Have you ever done stand up?
No, but actually I was going to do some recently. I would love to do stand up, but
Really?
I have some stuff written. And actually my sister-in-law, Tiffany, did stand up for a long time.
Right,
and,
I'm aware of
yeah,
that.
we
That's
met
right.
we met in the comedy world and then introduced her to my brother.
You
and then we married her.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
it's all your fault.
It's all my fault. So she was one of my good friends, and then my brother was like, I'd like that good friend for myself. And I was like,
Go away!
I was like, only if you share with me. So now she's
Okay.
my
You didn't
she's
give
my
him the go away
she's my
stranded
best
girl,
No. You find your own friends.
My friend,
No.
my game.
No, I was
God.
like, share her with me. No. So now she's my best friend's sister-in-law, I have to say. No,
Nice,
she is.
man.
But
She's funny.
she's awesome.
Yeah.
So she did stand up when I was doing improv, and we met.
okay.
Those worlds crossed, and so we just went to see a stand up. Like there's an open mic stand up, and we just went to see it, and we were both saying like, okay, let's do it, because I've never done stand up. So,
Yeah.
but I've done a one woman show, which I feel like is similar, but it's different format.
Oh, and then every day, I mean, you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm
full
doing,
time.
but
It's
I did
basically
an
one-
adult one woman show.
Really?
Yeah. So when I was taking theater classes, after the improv world,
Yeah.
after that, I started doing theater, and then I wanted to do a one woman show, and so then I wrote a one woman show, and this was at the start of my storytelling, and so I did this one woman show about my childhood, a character in my childhood, and it was amazing. So I love that. It's all kind of related. It's like playing all these characters in my one woman show and stuff. So yeah.
And then obviously, I mean, a comedic role would work for you as well.
Yeah, I would love a comedic role too. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like gonna like try to be exactly like get into the whole pool of like I want to be a famous actress. Like I feel so lucky and so blessed that I've found this calling for me as a children's storyteller. Like I feel like it's made for me, and I love it. I mean, I can't.
You created a safe haven.
Yeah,
for
and
yourself.
it's just unbelievable that I get to make kids laugh for a living. And like sometimes I'll walk in and the kids just like cheer because they know me. Like so I'll come to some in-home daycare and they Tracy's here. And they just get so excited.
Oh,
I'm like, this is why I do it, because everyone cheers for me when I walk into a room, and it's funny because it's like how amazing to have like all these little kids just, and they're just like, you know, even if I feel bad by the time I leave story like that day, if I'm having like a kind of a morning, it's like I can walk in and I'll be like, oh, I don't feel like telling stories right now because I got, you know, you just got to be super silly and like fun and you know, and it's like, oh, and then as soon as I get into it, you just stay in the moment. Yeah, it's switch because I'm in the moment and I'm not thinking about, and that's the beauty of children, especially that young, is they're completely in the moment. They're not like, oh, I got to do my taxes later, and you know, like, oh, I got to have snack in a couple minutes, and you know, I should use the potty and wash my hair.
They're just like someone needs to come up with like
a bit of kids,
a camp of some sort of retreat.
Kids that are not in the moment.
No, I think that right?
These children are not in the moment.
Take them away.
He's been talking about snack time for 2 minutes, and we're playing kickball.
You're going to never come back, land.
Yeah,
what?
Totally.
No, this sounds terrible. No, I think like a retreat for adults to like rekindle, you know, that childhood energy. Copyright Robby Celestin.
Camp.
Let's make the camp. No, I mean, it has to happen.
No, it should be great, yeah.
We forget. Yeah, people just, I don't know at what age, I think
8.
The age differs.
8 or 9.
you have a hard number because you're in that world.
I got
8,
it.
Exactly, 8 in 1 month.
8, yeah, after your 3 months, after you turn 8, it happens.
But I mean, I think just everybody has, because, you know, I think we might be kindred spirits in this. Like,
you've got that play.
Yeah, that thing. And, but
at
some point, people just lose.
I know, and it's.
You know, that one, because when we're kids, we just want to play, we want to laugh, we want to dance, we want to pretend. And then at some point, life takes you out of it.
I know.
And sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's okay. You know, some people lose it so much, and it's like, wow, there's no joy in your life at all.
I was just somewhere recently where I was looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, people are miserable. Like, it's, where was it? I feel like it was somewhere just, I know.
And lots of times,
like, oh gosh.
These are people that are doing very well.
Yeah,
too.
it's just, because
they decided
like
this is where I have to go.
Yeah,
this
like,
is where I have to be.
Life.
I need
this is what living
the security. But if you get that and there's no joy.
I know.
And some people can find it and still have the joy in it, and that's awesome when they love their job. But I see it a lot the other way. You know, I think,
and that's why it's like the job you do. It's like it's not your own music right now, but
it's play.
But it's so fun.
I call it silver medal. I'm like, this is good. Like
silver medal instead of the gold.
Well, like if I'm not going to just be doing my own material and writing that like all the time and doing that. This is good. I'm going to take this.
You got the silver.
Yeah, I just wrote a song called Silver Medal with a guy named Jeff
really
Maley.
Cool.
And it's just, this is good. I'll take this.
Oh my gosh,
Silver
I like
medal.
that.
It works for me.
I like that. Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, but that joyful noise that we can make within ourselves that some people just can't. And it's not everybody. I can't slam like the whole corporate world because, you know, my wife Janice, we were singing together. We were touring together. But it was never like in her heart.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So when she left it, she was okay. Like she loves her job, and she loves what she does, and she doesn't have that longing for something else like I do. You know, I need to be in this world somehow.
Yes,
you know, the only thing I do notice there is that disconnect. She's back in school now. There's that disconnect between the arts and life, where it's like, oh, you don't forget you were here. You know, I think if she gets an A in her master's class, I'm like, that's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other day I was a guest on a podcast. I was never a guest on a podcast before. Last week it was awesome.
That's amazing.
And they just wanted
me
to
podcast?
It was called the CAU podcast. Okay. It's a Chicago podcast. It's a music podcast.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, and just to be after a long summer and fall of like, I don't know how many shows I've done in the last 4 months.
You were ready for...
Just for somebody to sit me down and say, let's talk about your music. And
let's sing so nice.
But there's that disconnect. I'm trying to bring her back. Like, remember, this is great.
Yeah.
But I think I told her like, oh, finally I had the best day of my life.
Right.
It was just me and my music. And I can already see she's forgetting that.
Yeah.
She's like, that's great.
Yeah. Like,
no, wait, no, it's not great.
No, it's
amazing.
I also feel
joy.
like too, as an artist, too, the hard, like sometimes I kind of like, it never ends. So sometimes I feel like a little jealous of like a teacher where you come home and you've already done your assignments and then work's done. Like, I feel like I constantly need to be creating, and then like I'll get mad at myself sometimes and be like, what? You just watched a TV show? Like, you should have been writing one. Like, so it's like I sometimes get a little like, it just never ends. And it's like, because you're creating your job. So I've been creating my job for a long time. And so you almost feels like you feel, I've gotten better at not feeling bad, because I'm like, okay, job's over right now. I'm going to go play with my son or, do something. And I also feel like too, when I'm playing with my son, it's part of my job, because I'm like, oh, that'd be a cool story. Like, I just made one up the other day because he's funny. He doesn't really like my storytelling shows.
How old is he?
He's 3.
Okay.
Which is my perfect age range. But he got really jealous in the beginning. So when he was like 2 and he'd see me perform and all the kids laugh, he would get really jealous and he'd go, "No, mama, all done, all done." And he would flip out, and I would have to like try to bribe him, and I'd give him like a lollipop, and I was like, you never give him a lollipop.
So he would go
like,
to your
he didn't. No, this would be like if he came to one that was okay for him to come to. I don't bring him to a lot of shows. Like, I would never bring him to a birthday party or anything like that. But I did a block party for my block, and he came and was just like, "How dare you laugh at my mother? That's my laughter," And I was like, "Mateo," and I was like trying to be, funny storyteller, and I was like, "Sit down," and I was like, "Okay, children," and I was like, Mateo was like, "Sit down." I was like, "How about a lollipop?" So I like hold out a lollipop, and he throws it on the ground and goes, "Look, mama." Like, so dramatic.
Wow.
Like, "I threw a lollipop. Don't you want to give me some time out?" or something, like,
oh no,
because he wanted my attention.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't throw fits. He just like tries to distract children during the show. Like, he'll get in their face and be like, "Look at me. Don't watch her. She's not fun." So it's funny. It's like, I always say, like, the only child that doesn't love my show is my son. And at home, he's always like, "Tell me a story, Mama. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story, Mama." But he doesn't want me to do my show with props and toys.
What does he want?
He just wants me to tell him a story. He's like, "Tell me a story, Mom. Mom, tell me a story."
Like old school, just
tell me a story
out of a
just
book,
just make up a story.
Okay.
And so that feels like an added pressure on top of, like, that's what I do for a job. Imagine coming home for a job, being like, "Okay, can you
sing?
Sing, Dad, sing again, sing another song, sing another." So, but then I used to, in the beginning of his life, when he started saying that, I was like, and then I was like, you know what? I was like, there's no pressure. I'm just going to do whatever. And so it actually has helped with like writing and the flow, because I would just like, I took off the like, okay, well, I got to make up a good story. It was just like, okay. And so now I actually started thinking of like tips for parents, because I always hear parents saying to me after a show, like, "My daughter always asks me to tell her a story, and I don't have anything."
So what would you say?
So what I say is, this actually has worked for me a lot, and because it's like I'm telling stories all the time, it's like I don't want to continually tell stories, even though I love storytelling. It's like at some point I don't want to keep telling them stories all night. I tell the story like of our day. And then, so if there was something that he like really was interested in during the day that like he saw or he talked about, I'll just start talking about that, and I'll tell that story. And there was a boy, and then it just starts opening up, and then I just create something. And then,
is it hard to teach that to a non-performer if you're giving a parent a tip, or what would you say to a parent who's like that you don't perform? Now we're at the learning portion of our show.
No, I just say what I would say is just tell the story of their day.
Yeah.
And then something comes from that. And like, you don't have to like make anything else up. Just tell the story of their day, what they did, and then if there's one thing that happened that they liked, maybe like talk about that. So like, he came home from preschool the other day and was talking. He was like, "There was goop at school today, Mama. They had goop." And I was like, "Goop? Ooh." I was like, I didn't know what the goop was, but I was like, sounds fun. And he was so excited about it. So I was starting like, "Oh, there's a boy and he loved his goop." And then I start talking about the goop, and then the goop got all over his room, and I just start making up a story about goop. So that was kind of my focus of the story, which I just let it, I was like, it doesn't even need to make sense. It doesn't, and I just let it go. And like, then actually that turned into a real story, and I did it today, and I got this prop for goop, and I was like, "Oh, cool." So now it's actually helping me. But in the beginning, it was like a lot of pressure, because it was like,
so the world is your office. I mean, it's just, it's your,
so I've been,
I keep trying to, everywhere you go.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. I used to do a radio bit. I used to be on the Loop. And on the Danny Bonaducci show.
Really?
Yeah, I would do a little. I would have to do a little comedy sports bit.
That's
at
fun.
the top of each hour. And I remember having.
What year was that?
Oh God, when was he here? It's probably like 12 years ago, maybe. It was right before he left Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I went.
That was when I started storytelling. It was like 2002.
Really?
Yeah.
And I remember having to I would take the train because I was still living in Northwest Indiana at the time, so I'd have to take the train to the Hancock building where they broadcast. But I would have to take the paper and just find the funny in the day, and then create this So you
created the whole bit and everything.
Yeah, I'd have to write this 2-minute bit.
That's awesome.
But I remember after a while, like in life, driving to a gig or something, that guy is whatever he is, difficult or whatever kind of crazy that guy is. That guy taught me so much on the job. It was a fluke. I happened to go. He was on the air, and he was his first day on the air. He was giving away the world, just whatever. Oh, I'll come to your house. I'll do this. I'll do that. Because he wanted listeners.
Right.
And I was in college, and I was like working at a grocery store, and I'm listening to this. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I'm like, wow. I bet you if I asked and I like football.
Okay.
But I'm not a sports guy.
Okay.
I'm not
just
one of those
football?
guys. Yeah,
Okay.
Tommy, I can't start quoting stats.
Yeah, right.
But I called up and I said, you don't have a sports guy. He's like, well, you want to do it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, come on down to the studio, blah, 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 blah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I went there the next day, and his producer's like, wait, you actually showed, he's here. He's actually here.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so they put me into the newsroom with a lady named Joy.
They didn't even test you out or anything?
They didn't test me out. They took me into the newsroom. They showed me how the AP kind of press machine works. And there's a sports one. You just rip it off as it comes out. And then you just look at all the little stories or blurbs, and you just circle what you want to read. But I didn't, so I went in there.
And just improvised? I
improvised and just started joking around. And he was slamming me the whole time. I'm like, oh boy, this guy hates my guts. And then we went to commercial. When we went to commercial, he's like, you're hilarious. Come back. Let's keep doing this. And he kept me coming, every week for about a year, and actually never got paid for it.
You didn't get paid?
No, but I became this personality, and it was so great. But every show he would teach me something else about improv, and I have to give the dude credit. When he was on the air, they would rattle off a quick sheet to the guest, about the guest coming on.
Wow.
And then he would just kind of retain it, but he would just improv, and he was really funny and really quick. So I owe that dude, because then it got to the point where if I were driving to shows that I'm singing at, if something happened or anything funny, I'm like, oh, that'd be funny for the story. I'd start incorporating the improv into the show.
Right.
And that's what led
so
to
he taught
me.
You.
Yeah. If my unplugged shows are the most fun, because you've seen the Final Say shows.
Yeah.
The original show is a little hybrid between my Unplugged show and the Final Say show. The Unplugged show, it's myself, a conga player, a guitarist.
Yeah.
And a third of the show is just jokes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then
I want to see one of these.
And then I sing. Yeah.
I want to see one of these.
So yeah. But anyway, it's the fact that I had to do that just for those moments, because my moments are just randomly on that stage, and they are just a portion of what I do. But for you, it's your whole thing. You have that structure.
Yeah.
But it must be interesting for every part of your day at some point can feed what you do. That's fascinating to me. It could almost be maddening.
I know. No, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, your office is your life.
Yeah, it doesn't shut off.
So that fascinates me.
It is because, and it's added more since now that I'm a parent. So I'm doing these shows and thinking so much more about
you have your own in-house focus group.
Yeah, I got it. I got my focus.
Yeah,
totally. I got my focus
right
group.
there. Oh my gosh, when he's 6, you're like, you're useless to me. Mom never talks to me. As soon as I was 8, she's never talked to me. Go away.
You're done. I'm done with you.
I'm always going to go back to Stranded Girl in the Rains. Go away, boys. Go away.
Find your own thing to do.
I'm 8.
I've got my own play.
I'm 8. I know. 8. 1 year too old. Go. You don't care about mommy's stories. But Mom.
Never again.
Play drums with your Uncle Tyson.
Totally. Find something else to do. Go outside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll become a novelist or something.
I know.
Now, here's something interesting as a mom. So my wife Janice was a singer. I'm a singer. And Molly has this voice already. We're seeing it. And everybody's always... I also know some of the podcast audience, they're not as familiar with like the musical side of me, but that's really that's where my money is,
right?
And whatever.
Yeah.
But I also know that
so your money is where your mouth is.
Yeah. I'm so dirty when you put it that way.
I know. Toy for
that's a CD.
The men.
That's a CD title.
Okay.
Let's put his money where the mouth is. I don't.
Money where the mouth.
Right,
okay.
Well,
okay.
Whatever.
Mouth is where the money is what it is.
So if we were to like separate, it's so weird. Like what you want to do with what you maybe should do. In a way, it's like it's so weird because people keep saying, all right, I'm well aware that I got very lucky.
Yeah.
There are singers out there that I would consider better than I am, and I was the right place, right time. I got this great full-time job doing what I do. It's not, unless you're famous, you don't really get jobs like the one I have.
No.
No. And I know that.
No.
Because I was on my way to leaving music altogether before this job kind of rolled around. Yeah. So when people say, oh God, you're a singer and Janice is a singer. Molly, she's going to work for NASA. She's not going to be a singer.
Do you really feel like you don't want it? Because it's
I would like her to explore it and fall into it, but to like really push. I know
you're
the
not
music
the parent.
world.
Yeah,
the music world just from like it's just getting worse.
So hard
every year. It gets worse and worse every year. You know? So I'm not going to tell her what not to do.
Yeah,
but
I think
would
it's
hope.
more like. I always feel like it's like just being open to like finding things that make you happy.
I'm not going to push her just because.
Because she's got a great voice. Like, do it.
Yeah. In
audition.
fact, I'm going to be.
So I did see like you have her already auditioning for The Voice, the show.
Yes.
Is that what I know?
I'm
like
as I
every
pageant.
When I walked in here today, I thought I saw like her audition video up.
I'm lying.
No,
she's 18.
No,
she's 18 or whatever the age is.
15, I think.
Is it 15?
I think so. Yeah.
No, I can't. I just couldn't.
Have you ever thought about auditioning for The Voice?
No. I don't know.
Because what's the guy that you kind of look like?
Daughtry. I get Daughtry a lot.
I mean,
I get
like
Vin Diesel
that's
a
where
lot
he
and
started.
Daughtry.
Yeah, totally, Vin Diesel. But Daughtry was on one of those shows, wasn't he?
I think. He was on
Voice or The Talent,
American Idol.
American Idol, right?
I think I'm with you, and I might have this similar vibe to us, where it's like especially now that I've kind of found my groove and I'm making a good living doing what I can't. I don't know. I found my own way.
Yeah, it's it's something about finding your own way for sure.
I don't know if I could do stand in the line.
I
walked by one time when I can't remember what was going on. It was one of the shows. It was by the NBC.
Oh, okay.
And you just see them, and they're kind of crazy.
I know.
And they're in line, and they're like, and you keep walking, and it's like,
they're like stretching.
And some of them sound good, but it's just crazy. Like,
makes me cringe. It makes me cringe.
I would not be myself in that. I would just be like,
I know. I'm the same way. Or people are like, tell me a story. Do a story. Do a shit. And you're just like, okay, just.
Oh, the dancing thing. I get that if I because when I'm on stage, there's stuff. I put the hat on. And I'm like,
yeah.
And that's the music moves me to do that.
Yeah,
so
and you can tell with yours.
Oh, good.
You can tell that it's organic and you're not forcing it because it's fun and it's like you're having fun. If you're having fun, the crowd is having fun, and that's the thing. That's the heart, and that's the thing with my show too. Is like if I'm having fun, they're having fun. If I'm not, I'm like, oh, I can. I'm in my head while I'm talking and doing a story. You're just like you just gotta go back into it and have fun.
That's the key. Yeah, so I can't do that. It's
I know.
phony and I don't know. It's
yeah. Well,
it's
I
weird.
think you're on a good path.
Yeah, it feels better,
especially
here.
After this podcast.
Yeah, well, we've copyrighted so many things.
So many things.
You're gonna be so rich.
Totally.
Molly's
total.
Hey, you guys are writing stuff. Can I write? No, you're gonna work for NASA.
Yeah.
But I'm down. We should collaborate. We'll collaborate.
We will.
Something.
Yes.
It's a shame. We should. How have we not hung out?
I don't know.
We live close, and
Let's do it.
Oh man.
Let's do it.
You're funny.
You're
funny
fun.
Sport, man.
You're fun.
Do this. So, what's next? And so right now it's about the TV show.
Yeah, I want my own TV show. I want my own kids' TV show.
I want
it. I want it. Yeah, I want it.
That's your Oompa Loompa.
That's it. What I want to do is be able to capture my live experience on TV.
That's
to
tough
basically,
too. Was it tough?
It seems very tough to cap because I feel it exactly. So I don't know. I've had. I feel like this show that I've created is the closest thing to it, but I still think the live shows. They have something so magic. Yeah, they have something magical and
you're
special.
So lucky, not lucky, but God, man.
But when you're a parent too, you got less time to like go out and do the shows, and it'd be really nice to have the TV show and like shoot it and kind of be like. But I love the live. I love the live performance aspect.
But that show,
me,
you worked on an actual TV show.
Yeah.
So the fact that you had your foot in that world, that has to serve you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we'll see.
And the show sounds really unique.
Yeah.
So copyright Tracey Ellert.
Copyright.
Yeah, because I have not heard anything like that.
And there's a lot of animation on right now, which this is live action and puppets, so
let me ask you,
it's going to be a hit.
Would it ever be to the point, would you ever bring in like the live, like the children, sort of an audience aspect to
Actually, I did a show with my brother, which was like a mock-up of what I wanted to do is like a live studio audience show. It was called, we did it right before I had my child. It was called the Baby Ballyhoo Show, and Tyson was my drummer.
Now?
He's three. Three, right.
So
we did this live show where he was the drummer, and it was kind of like I felt like it was like an Ellen. I told stories.
Did he have a character? Did Tyson have to be a character?
No, he didn't. But he played the mini drum set.
Oh, okay.
He played the kids' drum set.
Oh, and he's so like big, 6'8" or something.
And it just looked so great, and like it was really awesome. And it was amazing to have like the live music aspect with my stories. So I told stories, but he accompanied me, and we played off each other, and that was really amazing. And so
need to make him be somebody.
I know, we gotta make him a
for
character,
our own enjoyment.
Right?
Yeah,
let's do that.
Call him Tiny.
Totally, Tiny Tie.
Seriously. Oh, and then he would have to actually wear a tiny tie.
A tiny tie.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And he would be Tiny Tie.
Tiny Tie. I like it.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I've got a show coming up, and I'll put him into it.
Yeah. Every time now, when he listens to this, by the time he gets to the end, he's going to be like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Oh no, this has gone terribly wrong. No.
Find your own podcast.
Then he will run to the rain and cry, and he'll be stranded tie.
He'll know what it's like.
You got to make him be somebody.
I know.
He needs a jester's hat of some sort. Because he's also a very stylish guy.
I know.
So you need to make him go the
I like Tiny Tie.
A tiny tie is perfect. All right.
It's happening.
We're building things here.
We are. We've made a lot in this podcast.
I hope the show works out, dude.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
It will. I think it will. I believe in it.
So, and the main the B Bally...
BeBallyhoo.com is my live storytelling shows. They can find me for storytelling shows at schools, preschools, birthday parties, libraries. Awesome. Yeah. That's my thing. And then you can see my commercial, and don't forget to look up Dancy Nancy.
Dancy Nancy
on YouTube.
That's like
you can find her.
And then you're still. Do you have time even for like any random auditions these days?
Yeah, I still do some auditions here and there. So, but yeah, I do whenever I get called in.
You're so animated. We should do like people aren't seeing what I see. Like you're all in.
Yeah.
As great as your voice sounds, because they're going to hear that. But like your face, your body, people. There's random like donk donk donk. You're knocking the mic a couple times.
That's my animation. That's all I get. Right.
Yeah, it's like you have 8 arms, but you don't.
I know.
So yeah, we should we'll have to get you on. We'll do a short or something.
I like it.
I don't know, because I'm jumping. I have to now that film thing. That it's been like a year and a half since we actually filmed it. I do something else. So.
You gotta do something else.
Yeah. So
all right.
if it's not like
if not
even
that
if it
improvised musical.
Let's.
I won't sing.
Sure.
I'll just narrate.
I want to hear you sing though.
I'll narrate.
I mean, it's loud and proud on the.
I think I sound pretty good. Are you ready?
You're gonna sing right now?
Yeah, I'll sing a song. Okay?
Throw down.
All right, this is one of my favorite songs that my mom used to. I'm not gonna sing the whole song.
All right.
And even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a drain of love.
You even have a storybook vibe.
And in the morning when I rise, I can fake it.
I like the way you're like, wait, hold on.
The best
Go away. I'm singing.
I'm not done.
I'm singing Girl in the Rain.
I'm not blessed. I'm not blessed with other talents.
You're in
the morning when I rise.
I have to say, your voice even has a storyteller vibe when you sing,
What is it? Bring a chain of love. Bring a chain. You know that song?
Not
Danny's song?
Are we trying to do a duet right now?
No,
I don't know. I mean, I know it, but I don't know it. One of those things.
My mom used to sing it all the time.
Which people don't believe. I hate that, by the way, if I'm doing a show. Listeners, and you hear me sing, and you're coming out and you have a request, no means no, by the way.
Forget it.
Do you know Wagon Wheel? No, actually, I've
I
not done that one. I think I'm
not
supposed
doing
to.
it.
But actually, eventually, I think I have to do that one, because the orders from the office are like, you're going to do these tunes. But
I know. I just got oh, we're having a birthday party and the theme is Frozen. Can you do something in your stories with Frozen? I'm like, no, I don't do other people's stories. I do my own stories, but I always have to say, oh, sure, I'll work something in. So,
what do you do when you're not doing it? What's your jam? Like, what kind of movies do you like, or do you watch TV? Or
yeah, I do like TV and movies. I don't know. I feel like I like all kinds of I like comedy shows. I mean, I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's a new fun show. I like that a lot.
Like
and the Mindy Project. I like that.
I haven't seen that yet. I keep hearing great things. Do you like New Girl?
No. That went downhill.
I haven't seen the newest season. I thought after a while the dudes were kind of bringing more of an A game than the lead after a while.
Yeah. I actually haven't seen it recently. I have to. Which one?
One of the the kind of more cantankerous, angry guy.
Oh yeah, he is from Chicago.
Yeah. He's got roots here. In fact, my second podcast.
I should give it. I gotta listen to it again.
My first podcast my first guest.
Ghost. It was a ghost.
Well, something creepy just happened. J.C. Brooks.
Okay.
J.C. Brooks in the Uptown Sound.
Okay.
He's friends with those guys.
Okay.
So every time, what is his character name? Nick, maybe?
Yeah.
The grumpy one?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Anytime there's a scene in his bedroom, J.C. Brooks' face is just plastered. There's a poster of J.C. Brooks, Chicago's own.
That's really funny.
Yeah, so it's awesome.
Yeah. No, I have to give it another chance. I haven't seen it for a long time, but
I just went back in because I'm addicted to Netflix because of the singing hours. Like I can only watch something at like 1 a.m.
Right. So you gotta just
But I'll watch.
Well, my show should be on there soon.
Once Upon a Time.
I started watching that and looked really good, and then I forgot about it. So
I don't know. I thought I heard it like got a little hokey later on, but like I just saw season 1.
It's fun.
It's crazy,
man.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Did you start from the beginning? Or?
I started with the first and second episode, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun." And then I think I got like preoccupied or something.
Do you do the Netflix thing or any of that?
Yeah, I do Netflix.
Check it out because
it's on there.
If you're into any of the fairy tales,
it's all make believe.
They make it very interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. All those a lot of those fairy tales are the grim.
Yeah, they started out kind of crazy dark.
They all are dark, and it's funny. Like when you try to do it now, it doesn't work because I'm like, I was just saying to someone today at my storytelling show, it's like Little Red Riding Hood. I'm like, I've never tried to retell that because it's so awful. It's like, oh, the wolf came and ate grandma, and then the axeman came and like cut.
You need to watch Once Upon a Time and see what they do to Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh my goodness!
Yes.
All right,
Holy
I'm gonna check it out. Okay.
I don't know if it gets any better because I just watched the first season, but
all right,
Little Red Riding Hood, man, blow your mind.
All right,
mess up your whole world, change everything you ever thought.
I'm gonna be here for Halloween, so
are you really?
Maybe I should watch it before.
Does that mean are you gonna be like friendly or like hello?
No, I'm gonna be friendly because Mateo, my son, is gonna be the wolf. He wanted to be a wolf, so I was like, all right, I'll be Little Red Riding Hood.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then my husband's gonna be a wolf too. So I got 2 wolves and Little Red Riding Hood.
Okay, that's a party foul.
Yeah,
your husband should be Granny.
He should. Oh, he should be Granny. Well, I was like, I'm going to be a wolf too. You think he wants to be Granny? He doesn't want to be Granny. He wants to be the wolf. But first I was going to have him be the huntsman or the axeman, and then I was like, but then he was like, I'm going to be wolf too. He's got to be Granny, right?
Yeah, he has to be.
Yeah, maybe I got to tell him. You're going to have to work I've got tons of Granny stuff, way easier than wolf for him.
That would be, that's perfect.
I know.
Yeah, we need more themes. One time we were just all like bumblebees or something. But
I
did one, before
Care Bears.
Baby, Janice was a witch and I was a broom.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that was my favorite one.
The X-rated one.
There's a great picture of that, and for writing me. In her parents' living room.
Oh,
it all keeps sounding worse, doesn't it, as it goes on? But it's a great. I'll have to find that picture and post it on the Chatter Fact page. I was a good broom.
That's funny. Yeah. That's a good one.
We're gonna do some stuff.
Let's do it.
And I can't. I can't wait to watch your stuff and see
your
stuff.
Check it out.
You're awesome.
You're awesome. Thanks for having me.
We've known. How long have we known it?
6 years. Yeah. I mean, I only get to see you at your shows, and
I think we've chatted like for minutes. Maybe.
That's it.
I don't know.
This
if we've
was really
ever
fun.
Topped like the 2-minute.
This is really fun.
Mark. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Are you kidding?
Not an interview. It's a conversation.
No, it's awesome, and I feel like we got so much work done. We have all this content we created. So
we have to call the copyright office.
We do.
Like
we gotta go. We gotta go. We got something. We gotta do.
Play amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Do you have like
Thanks, guys. We gotta go.
Closing theme? Are you or do you have like a
I
thing
sing a song for my storytelling classes, and I just preface it, and I say, I'm going to sing my song, even though my mom says I was blessed with other talents. I say it at my show, and
How does Mom feel about that?
She's like, oh, Tracy, I didn't say that. I'm like, Mom, you did. You did.
Blessed with other talents.
She's like, oh, Tracy.
Do you realize when you get super famous?
I'm going to hang it right over her head.
That's your autobiography.
I know. Blessed with other talents.
Boom, that is your title right there, which eventually gets turned into a movie that hopefully Kate Winslet will play. You'll have to make her play you.
Blessed with other talents.
Make her play you and make her like do the stranded girl crying scene.
Do it over again. Hey, that wasn't a good cry.
Again.
All right.
Well, it's been a treat. And people, Tracey Ellert, man, like find her.
That's me.
BeBallyhoo.com.
Yeah.
I love you now.
Oh, I love you too.
I liked you before, but now I love. We're high-fiving on the podcast. So, folks, I hope you guys like this. I love this. It's good to be back. I'm back, by the way. So there's going to be more podcasts like Shuffling Down. I think the next person I talk to might it's like crazy stunt lady or something.
Ooh, I like it.
She was like a double on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something.
Stunt lady.
But you are awesome. You're a blast. So everybody find her and get involved. And if you hear anything about the TV show, what would the TV show be called?
The Story Room.
Most likely The Story Room. Mm-hmm. If you hear anything about The Story Room on Netflix, anywhere, someone's selling it, and if it's at Target, whatever, just go find her, find it. And if you live in Chicago.
And you can buy my DVD.
Do you travel?
Yes, I do. And you can buy my DVD on my website. BeBallyhoo.com. You can buy What's the Big Idea, which you'll get a copy of.
Get the DVD.
Get the DVD.
Get the DVD, because you can like take that anywhere. Forget the streaming thing.
And
there's a DVD there.
Perfect for preschool age children.
Yeah?
And
so are you. You got your
male
show.
Adults that don't.
And daddies who just, come on, back.
That
okay. Yeah, no, seriously. So she will do whatever you need in the storybook world, and it's her own. She's like, you can't get this anywhere else because it's all original. It's in her head, man. It is in her head. So if you want the magic of Tracey Ellert, find her at BeBallyhoo.com and look around for all of the shows. The DVD, what's the DVD called again?
What's the Big Idea?
Get the DVD.
Get the DVD.
Why not? What's wrong with you people?
Get it.
So enjoy yourselves.
Buy it for your niece or nephew.
Buy it for your niece or nephew. If you don't have kids, get busy. Hurry up. Get a kid. And before the kid even shows up, just get the DVD so that it's fun to make kids. Have fun and make kids.
Have fun. Just go have fun. Make some kids.
Get stranded in the rain and make some kids.
Stranded. OD on Tic Tacs and make a kid.
Wow. That's a call to arms there, man. That's your second book.
Yeah.
Get stranded and make some kids. All right. Well, anyway, it's been fun. So everybody.
So fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I'm glad you liked it.
So fun.
You're a funny girl.
Thanks. You're a funny boy.
Enjoy your month. Enjoy your week, people. Go out and find your smile. Bye-bye.
Bye.